You're just in time for the ball game. You're just in time for excitement and fun.
WNFL has reserved your place.
Glad you could make it, so glad you could come. Our play-by-play man is standing by. Sit back and enjoy him, a real nice guy. You're just in time for the ball game. You're just in time for excitement and fun. All the play-by-play is ready to go. The voice of sports on 14 for all. WNFL. WNFL. Here's the game.
The Green Bay Packers in action. It's time for Packer Football, brought to you by Thorpe Finance. When you need financial service.
Hi, everybody. This is Gary Bender, along with Jim Irwin from Milwaukee County Stadium. Today, the Green Bay Packers play host to the defending National Football League champions, the Minnesota Vikings. It's a very pleasant day for football. Temperature 59 degrees, the relative humidity 39%, the wind out of the southwest at 12 miles per hour. The playing field appears to be in excellent shape, and as usual, another sellout game.
This broadcast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the National League Football Club of Green Bay and is solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. And any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National League Football Club of Green Bay is prohibited. Gary will have the starting lineup and the play-by-play in just one moment. This is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.
Doesn't it make sense to replace that old unreliable battery with the new PHV? See your Enco retailer and see him this week. Back at Milwaukee County Stadium, and one of the mysteries surrounding today's game has been answered. Bart Starr will get the starting nod at quarterback for the Packers. As they've introduced the starting lineup, the Packers won the toss, elected to receive. Very quickly, the starting lineup now for the Minnesota Vikings. Defensively, Carl Eller and Jim Marshall will be the defensive ends. Gary Larson and Alan Page, the defensive tackle. The three linebackers from left to right, Roy Winston, Lonnie Warwick, and Wally Hildenberg. The deep four, Bobby Bryant, Carl Kosoki, along with Paul Krause and Ed Schirachman. And now for the Packers offensively. It'll be Jack Clancy and Carroll Dale as the wide receivers. Francis May and the veteran Forrest Gregg will start at tackle. Bill Luke, J.O. Gillingham will be the guard, and Ken Bowman the center. The starting running backs will be Perry Williams and Donnie Anderson, Bart Starr at quarterback. And this is good news, Jim, because Bart Starr has thrown 22 touchdown passes in the last 16 games against the Vikings.
And, of course, the big question is, what happens when Bart gets hit by one of these fine defensive players for the Minnesota Vikings? That is the big question. Will he be able to get up and continue? Don Horn is ready to play if he needs to be called on. And we will see what happens here this afternoon. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Green Bay Packers Football Network.
You're listening to WTMJ Radio in Milwaukee. Hear all of the Packer football games this season on WTMJ.
They have reenacted the flip of the coin. The Packers winning the toss, electing to receive. The Vikings will be kicking as we're located from right to left. The wind out of the southwest, which will be blowing to right to left as this game wears on. About 12 miles per hour. It could be somewhat of a factor as the game develops. And I think one thing that is very interesting about this football game today is whether the Packers, Jim, can establish their own football game. They're very much concerned about whether the Vikings will get ahead and then make the Packers gamble. And against the Vikings, you can't gamble against them.
Well, this is, of course, one of the great rivalries in the National Football League. These two teams have battled head and toe ever since Minnesota came in the days of Fran Tarkenton. And out on the field, we're going to have our national anthem. Let's listen. And so with the playing of the national anthem, the band will now leave the field. The Green Bay Packers back deep to receive this kickoff from the Minnesota Vikings. The Packers, the last time they defeated Minnesota, won 30-27. That was back in 1967, and they won it on a field goal by Don Chandler in the closing seconds of the ball game after Tom Brown had intercepted for the Green Bay Packers. Perhaps we can get back on the winning trail against the Minnesota Vikings today.
Fred Cox, one of the premier field goal kickers in the NFL. He's kicked a field goal in 21 consecutive regular season games. Will start this football game kicking from right to left from the 40-yard line. Travis Williams and Dave Hampton standing on the goal line for the Packers. A crucial game for the Packers to establish how much of a factor they're going to be in the Central Division race, and the Vikings hoping to get off to a great start like they did a year ago. And here's the kick by Cox, and what a kick. It's going deep in the end zone. Hampton bats it down. It goes clear out of the back of the end zone, and they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. And Fred Cox has already established that he can kick the football. This guy has really come on his own the last 2 or 3 years. And so often, the great football teams will find a guy like Fred Cox that'll carry him through the close games like he has done against the Packers the last couple of years. The crowd in excess of 47,000. Cheering the Packers on as they break huddle. The first offensive play from scrimmage from the 20-yard line. Bart Starr at quarterback. Put to the near side, Clancy along with Dale. The split backs, Travis Williams and Donnie Anderson. A give to Travis, and he's hit behind the line of scrimmage at the 18-yard line. Alan Page, the right defensive tackle, the former Notre Dame All-American, credited with a tackle, a loss of 2.
As Don Horton said in our pregame broadcast today, the one thing the Packers must do on every running play is at least get back to the line of scrimmage. And here on the opening play, a loss of 2 yards, and out puts you on a 2nd and 12, and you're going to have to throw the football soon.
At the 18-yard line, 2nd down, 12 just underway with 14:28 to go in the first quarter. Again, Dale and Clancy split to the near side as Anderson and Travis Williams the set running back. Bart Starr gives up the middle. Running with the ball is Donnie Anderson. He's back to the original line of scrimmage, the 20-yard line, before he's dropped there. It'll bring up 3rd down 10 as Lonnie Warwick, the middle linebacker for the Vikings, credited with the tackle. And you can see already how tough it is to run against the Minnesota Vikings. As Anderson tried to cut and weave his way up, but he was downed abruptly at the 20-yard line. 3rd down 10 for the Packers, who are huddled up back inside their 10-yard line. They're playing over the dirt part of the infield, which is on the left side of the football field. Now, Williams and Anderson a little mixed up in their splits in the backfield. On a 3rd down 10, Starr back to throw. Far side, it is caught by Hilton, and he's dropped at the 20-yard line. John Hilton bobbled the ball, and then he was clotheslined and dropped at the 20.
John caught the ball one-handed. He reached up, brought the ball down, juggled it for a moment, and trying to get his footing to run upfield, and he was hit immediately. A remarkable catch just to catch the football. More importantly on that play, Bart had time to throw it. It was a quick pass. A quick look in. That's all he wanted to do to make Minnesota know that it's there. And he will probably change that a little bit later and go deeper. But look for the quick look in most of the early part of the ball game.
Wally Hilgenberg was credited with that clothesline stop at the 21-yard line. The deep men, Charlie West along with Bob Grimm. Donnie Anderson a kick from the 5-yard line. The snap by Bowman is perfect. Here's the boot. End-over-end kick to the far side of the field. Comes down to the 42, picked up by West. He's drilled out of bounds at the 44-yard line. As Dave Hampton raced down there and was able to shove him out of bounds at the 44. And that's where the Vikings will take over. 1st and 10. The first time they've had the ball with 12:51 to go in the first quarter. The Vikings have not been able to get the ball across the end zone, but they've been able to get it close enough this year to get Fred Cox in for 3 points. At the 44-yard line, 1st and 10. Split to the far side, Washington. Bob Grimm. Split to the near side is Gary Quazzo, operating the team at quarterback for the defending NFL champions. A give to Clint Jones. He's across the 45, up to the 47-yard line. Bob Cheater filling to make the stop.
Gary, another final score, and here is the second upset of the afternoon. Buffalo has defeated the New York Jets 34-31.
You never know. And at the 47-yard line, it's going to bring up 2nd down and around 7 yards to go. As Clint Jones, who has beaten out Dave Osborne at one of the running back spots. In fact, Oscar Reed, along with Clint Jones, an entire new starting backfield in this ball game for the Vikings as opposed to a year ago. At the 47, a give. Straight up the middle. And wait a minute, trying to give the ball was Quazzo, and he's dropped behind the line of scrimmage. Beautiful play by Rich Moore and Bob Brown. They drop him at the 45. He's trying to hand off to Oscar Reed.
Yes, sir. And this timing on the part of Quazzo and Reed. By the time Quazzo had turned around to hand the football to Reed, who had gone past it, Reed was out of reach, and he simply had to keep it. And it is fortunate for Quazzo that he was able to pull it back in just before he was hit. Beautiful penetration that time by Brown and Moore from the left-hand side. It is going to bring up third down, 9 yards to go for the Vikings from their own 45-yard line. Quazzo hit very hard on that last play. He's back to throw on third down 9. Looking up the middle, it is incomplete. The intended receiver, Clint Jones, defending very nicely, was Dave Robinson, who came across the middle, and the Packers have held on the first initial series. And that has to be very heartening to be able to establish some defensive control, because you might remember in games past, the Packers have had a tough time getting started defensively. We did not have the penetration or the rush on Jerry Quazzo that you're going to have before the game is over, but he's still behind his intended receiver, Clint Jones. Tom McNeil will kick from the 31-yard line, averaging a little over 40 yards a kick, and he gets off a high, wobbly kick. Calling for the fair catch is Travis Williams inside the 15 at the 14-yard line, and Willie Wood threw a booming block on Dale Hackbart. And at the 14-yard line, the Vikings now set up defense. The Packers with the ball for the second time, but not with good field position that they would like to have. With 11:35, the Packers take over. That last kick, a total of 41 yards for Tom McNeil, who has beaten out Bob Lee, who last year had the kicking charge for the Vikings. They are carrying, however, both of them on the squad. Dale Clancy splits to the near side. First and 10 call from the 14-yard line. The Packers and the Vikings on their initial series not able to get going. Bart Starr, play action fake, throwing the near side. Down here, trying to make the grab, incomplete as Clancy at the 20-yard line. Down and out pattern to the near sideline. Clancy couldn't quite reach it off his fingertip as Carl Kasulki was defending for the Vikings. A very dangerous pass. It has to have perfect timing, otherwise the defensive cornerback could come up and grab the ball. Then there is no one between him and the goal line. The timing was very good on that one, except that Clancy perhaps ran it about a yard deep, and Clancy will be the first to admit to you that he is still learning. He's missed a lot of football in the last 2 seasons.
Second down, 10 call from the 14-yard line, as again, Dale and Clancy split to the near side. That's been the formation every time for the Packers thus far. There's a give up the middle to Travis Williams. He's across the 15, punches his way up to the 19-yard line. Right up the middle, Travis Williams carrying the ball. Alan Page credited with a tackle as they mark the ball at the 19-yard line. It'll bring up third down, still 6 yards to go for the Packers. And that was encouraging to see the good blocking up the middle against this Purple People Eater front line, and it is something. Eller, Larson, Page, and Marshall considered, along with the Rams, to be the best 2 in pro football. To the near side comes Dale. Also split out this time is John Hilton to the near side. The far side is Clancy. At the 19-yard line, Starr back to throw on third down, 6. He's in trouble. He scrambles loose. He's running the ball across the 20, and he drops at the 22-yard line. Bart Starr ad-libbing his way up to the 22 to bring up fourth down.
Well, you just go kind of all queasy and quivery whenever Bart starts to run with the football, but fortunately for him that time and for the Green Bay Packers, the defensive man caught him around the leg. Didn't get anywhere near his chest. The chest, of course, is very tender. It is very sore, and that time he was caught by the ankles and got away with it. Short of the first down, however. Fourth down, 2 from the 22, and Donnie Anderson will kick for the second time, standing at his own 9-yard line. West is deep, along with Bob Grimm. Both of them are excellent punt returners. Anderson waiting for the snap from Ken Bowman. It's perfect again. Here comes the boot. End over and kick. Coming over is West at the 40-yard line. He's got it going to the far side. 45. He's hit hard and dropped at the 47-yard line by Dave Hampton. There is a flag on the play. Hampton on both punts now has gotten down to make the tackle. I'm sorry, Gary. The Minnesota Vikings had a right return on that time, and they had 4 blockers out in front of the ball carrier, and one of those blockers guilty of a clip, and that is a help for the Green Bay Packers. We had a little trouble with field position here in this first series, but this certainly will help now if they can stop the Minnesota Vikings.
Give a real pat on the back to Dave Hampton, who's gone down the field in a hurry to make tackles on Charlie West. There's timeout on the field with 9:36 to go in the first quarter. There's no score. This is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.
I want to feel free. I want to go into the sky and tell everybody what a lucky guy am I. 'Cause nothing will be. What makes it happen today?
Thorpe can make good things happen to your home. Borrow all the money you need to paint and spruce it up. Make improvements for comfort, beauty, and resale value. Call on Thorpe.
What makes it happen today?
There are over 125 Thorpe offices throughout the Midwest, nearby and ready to serve you. Just look in the yellow pages under loans for Thorpe Finance.
Back at County Stadium, the Vikings with the football for the second time at the 32-yard line. After the 15-yard penalty moved it further up the field. Back to throw and first down, Gary Quazzo. Up the middle it goes. It's intercepted by Doug Hart. 45, 40. He fights his way up to the 36-yard line before he's dropped. Doug Hart on a pass intended for Oscar Reed, and Hart with his second interception this many games.
Had that ball not been intercepted, however, by Doug Hart, it would have been intercepted by Ken Ellis. Ellis had the inside on the receiver, which was Reed, and Ellis had him well covered, and that ball was just kind of thrown up for grabs. Hart got there first, but Ellis had a great shot at it.
They were making some penetration on Quazzo when he released the football. They marked the ball at the 36-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Packers in Viking territory. 9:07 to go in the first quarter of play. Mark Starr's quick look-in pass, incomplete, intended the near side for Carroll Dale at the 31-yard line. As Starr on first down, also going to the airways after Quazzo had done the same thing. Incomplete, stops the clock, and moves the ball back at the 36-yard line, 2nd down 10.
Gary, to explain that play, they're putting Carroll Dale out as the wide receiver and Jack Clancy as the slot man. On the play before, the dust went off of Clancy's fingertips on the last series. Clancy had gone down and cut over, and Dale went on a post pattern. This time, Dale went the outside route, and Clancy went on the post pattern.
A big interception by Hart, giving the Packers the ball in good field position. 2nd down, 10 call from the 36-yard line. Clancy and Dale split to the near side. Starr back to throw. Has protection. Up the middle. It's caught. Across the 25, down to the 23-yard line is John Hilton. Hilton made the grab, lunged forward. They'll spot the ball at the 22, and it's going to bring up a 1st and 10 for Green Bay, and he threaded the needle with that one.
He threw the ball very hard, I think harder than even the Minnesota Vikings thought he could under the condition of the sore ribs. He had to throw the ball hard, he had to throw it quickly, and he got it there between Krause and Shirachman.
Bart Starr apparently not bothered by those ribs right now as he threw the ball perfectly at the 22-yard line. 1st and 10, give off to Donnie Anderson. He gets to the 20-yard line for a gain of 2 and is hit hard. Anderson was knocked straight back when he got to the 20. It'll bring up 2nd down 8. As the Vikings again showing how tough it is to run against him. Jerry Larson was the guy credited with a tackle. He's considered to be the strongest of that front four as far as strength is concerned. He does not have the speed that some of the others have, but they all fit together beautifully for this Viking front four. 2nd down 8 from the 20. The Packers with 7:54 split. Dale along with Clancy to the near side. Quick pitch, far side to Anderson. He eludes the tackler and gets back to the line of scrimmage before he's knocked out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Penetration was made by Wally Hildenberg, and eventually Ed Shirachman came up to make the stop. It'll bring up 3rd down as they give him the yard loss back to the 21. 3rd down 9. As Anderson on a quick pitch just couldn't get the corner turn.
This is the third down situation for the Green Bay Packers in the ballgame. They failed to convert the previous 2.
At the 21-yard line, the Packers now hoping to pick up a 1st and 10, or we may see Dale Livingston coming in. To the far side, Clancy. To the near side comes Dale along with John Hilton. We have 3 split receivers in this formation. The running backs, Travis Williams and Donnie Anderson. Starr back to throw on 3rd down. Has protection. Up the middle. Incomplete. Donnie Anderson, the intended receiver, he collided, and I mean collided, with Paul Krause at the 15-yard line. And a field goal attempt will be coming up now on 4th down 9.
Krause is just an excellent defensive back, and he got there at the perfect time with Donnie Anderson. He hit Donnie just as he went for the football and knocked Donnie Anderson down and knocked the football away. And you can't do a better job than that.
Krause was picked up from the Redskins, and that has to be one of the big steals as far as trades were ever concerned. And now, a field goal attempt of 27 yards to be attempted by Livingston. Starr to hold. At the 7:41 mark, the ball's down. The kick's on the way. It's got height. It's got distance. It's good. With 7:37, the Packers take a 3-0 lead. This is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.
We're from Milwaukee and we ought to know it's good old black beer wherever you go. Cakes, cans, and bottles all taste the same. The three best in one beer glass is the name.
The three best beers in America is Good Old Blatz. Sure. Good Old Blatz in bottles. Good Old Blatz in cans. And Good Old Blatz in kegs. That's because the Blatz people take the time and the trouble to put the same great beer in all three. You can taste the quality that made Blatz Milwaukee's finest beer for over 100 years. Like they say in the song,
Cakes, cans, and bottles all taste the same. The three best in one beer glass is the name.
pass the word.
Good old Blatz is best.
From the Good Old Blatz Brewing Company, division of G. Heilemann Brewing Company. So Dale Livingston with a 27-yard field goal puts the Packers on the scoreboard first. They lead 3-0. That field goal we were just talking by Dale Livingston did not get up in the air very quickly, and that's been one of his problems. However, the line held out the Minnesota Vikings very, very well, and we were noticing in practice that Dale was having a trouble getting the ball up quickly, and that time was no exception. But it's good, and so you're ahead, and we'll take it.
Also, it should be pointed out the line's doing an excellent job pass blocking for Bart Starr in the two series that they've had the football. Deep West along with Clint Jones for the Vikings. Livingston on the run-up on the ball. He hits it well. Standing at the goal line is Jones. Picks it up 10, 15, 20. Wipes his way up to the 23-yard line, and he goes down under a big pileup at that point. Clint Jones had to wait a long time on that ball as it was up in the air, and the Packers down covering very well, and they're going to mark the ball at the 24-yard line. Cleo Walker was there first to make the tackle. 3-0. The Packers lead on a 27-yard field goal by Dale Livingston. As that's the page out of the Vikings book. Gets within field goal range and take a lead. And now the Packers right now enjoying that three-point advantage. At the 24-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Vikings. Quazzo has Washington split to the near side. Gives off to Oscar Reed. He comes up to the 25-yard line. Pickup of 1, maybe 2 yards. Now ball was jarred loose. And I don't know whether Fred Carr thought it was the Packers or what. He was signaling down the other way, but the ball was thrown dead. They mark it just across the 25-yard line to bring up 2nd down and 8 yards to go.
Fred Carr wanted the official to know that he had the football. That's why he jumped up with it. Lionel Aldridge and Mike McCoy got a very good penetration, but also the pursuit was excellent that time by the Packers.
2nd down 8. Just across the 25-yard line. The Vikings moving from right to left in the first quarter. Quazzo back to throw, rolling the near side, looking up the field, throws against the grain, caught by Washington. At the 45, he stumbles and makes his way to the 49. Very fine pass by Quazzo, who threw against the grain, throwing back to Gene Washington. Ken Ellis made the stop. The ball marked at the Viking 49-yard line, 1st and 10. And Washington, one of the great pass receivers in the NFL, really showed us something then, as Quazzo got the flow going one way and threw against it. At the 49-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Vikings. That's their initial 1st and 10 of the afternoon. To the near side, split out Bob Grimm. Give up the middle of Oscar Reed for maybe a yard to the midfield stripe at the 50. Mike McCoy is credited with a tackle as they mark the ball for a pickup of 1. It'll be 2nd down 9. The ball just across the 50-yard line in Packer territory. Give an assist on that last play to Bob Brown from his defensive left end position. 5:35 to go in the first quarter. 3-0. The Packers on top. The Vikings, who picked up 1 1st and 10, now with the ball in Packer territory. The near side, Washington split out. The far side, Bob Grimm. Quazzo almost has the Packers offside. To give to Clint Jones, swinging the far side across the 50, hit hard. That's the Packer 47-yard line. Rich Moore just ran over him. It looks like the Packers got back in time before the ball was snapped. For a moment, though, it appeared they might be offside.
Yes, McCoy jumped for just a moment, but he was able to get back on that play. Rich Moore slowed him up, and Ray Nitschke, I'll get it right in a moment, Nitschke came across. Ray has not played well the first couple of ball games, but Ray has been injured. And if he gets well, he will be devastating again.
Third down, 6 call from the Packer 47-yard line. To the near side, Grimm. The far side, Gene Washington. Quazzo, back to throw. Looking to the far side. He's going for the bomb. Down there's Washington, and Ellis incomplete. Kenny Ellis had the inside track on Gene Washington and played it perfectly. And the rookie really with a challenge on that play.
Gary, on that play, both Washington and Ellis are looking back into the sun, towards the sun, and Ellis was there in perfect position to intercept, but he didn't get his hands up in time. I don't feel that he saw the ball as it came down.
So it's going to bring up 4th down 6, as Ellis, who early this year in regular season play was burned early. They tried to burn him that time, but the rookie stayed with Gene Washington all the way. And Washington, that great height of his, is really tough to defend against. So the Packers, for the second time now, have held. And the kick will be Tom McNeil, Willie Wood, and Travis Williams back deep for the Packers at the 10-yard line. Green Bay leads it 3-0. The snap to McNeil. The boot on the way. A high kick. It's going to hit at the 5, go into the end zone, but not by much. It almost kicked out. And for the touchback at the 20-yard line, the Packers will have it.
The closest thing yet to a perfect motor oil. That's what racing driver A.J. Foyt calls Uniflow Motor Oil. Now available at the Enco sign, where you get all the extras. A final baseball score for you this afternoon. The Cincinnati Reds have defeated the Pittsburgh Pirates 3-1. And now the Reds have taken a 2-game-to-none lead over the Pirates in their best 3 out of 5 series for the National League Championship.
The Packers with the ball for the third time, this time at the 20-yard line. At that last kick by McNeil covering 47 yards, as Wood very calmly let it go over his head, anticipating it would get into the end zone. And for a moment, you were caught short. It looked like it might kick back out, but it did not. And at the 20-yard line, the Packers enjoying a 3-0 advantage, hoping now to, again, get some field position.
Carry on the third down play that time for Minnesota. Their second of the afternoon, and they failed to convert either of the two. But on the third down play, they went against the rookie Ken Ellis. And they threw it towards Gene Washington. And Ellis is getting to the point. Last week, Minnesota was unable to take advantage of him. And so far here this afternoon, he has done very well against one of the finest receivers, as you said, Gene Washington, who is tough to defend. And Washington not only has speed, but he's learned to make the moves. He makes the pattern run just the way it should be.
And the crowd cheering on the Packers as they break huddle. Far side split out Clancy and Dale. This is new. They've been coming to the near side most of the time as they have a little wrinkle down their offense. There's a give to Travis Williams. He skips across the 20 up to the 23-yard line. Gary Larson out of Concordia making the tackle. It'll be 2nd down 7. The Packers still trying to establish their rushing attack. They've been hitting off the left-hand side, which would be the right side of the Viking defense. And that would be running against Marshall and Larson. But thus far, not too much success against this front four. Brings up 2nd down 7. The ball at the 23-yard line. This time, Dale and Clancy split to the near side. There's a give to Travis Williams again across the 25, up to the 27, 28-yard line. Williams, that time, really lowered his shoulder and got an additional 2 yards as Larson again credited with a tackle.
Well, I'd like you to know what kind of a battle is going on between Forrest Gregg and his defensive man, Carl Eller, for the Minnesota Vikings. And that time, Forrest Gregg was able to stand Eller straight up and then push him to the outside and open up a hole for Travis Williams to just squirm through. And the Packers have been coming very close to getting that body through that first charge of the defense of Minnesota. So that's an encouraging sign this afternoon.
Here's a big 3rd down 2 call. The Packers trying to keep the football. From the 28-yard line, they set up shop. A give to Donnie Anderson. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage and had the legs knocked clear out from under him. He may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. Willie Hilgenberg was credited with the tackle. I believe Anderson has been, no, that's Francis Pay that's been shaken up. Pay is limping off, and the Packers are short in the offensive tackle department as it is. And Pay now may be out for the rest of the afternoon. Hayhoe, along with Hines, have had injury troubles, and the veteran Gregg has had to go most of the way.
It's the right ankle of Francis Pay. I see Bill Hayhoe across the sidelines immediately started jumping up and down and doing a few calisthenics to get ready. Now he's standing quietly. Apparently he is ready to play football.
Grimm and West deep on this 4th down 2. Anderson kicking from the 15-yard line. He was really hit on that last play trying to pick up the 1st and 10. Here's the boot, a good one. End over end kick. Bob Grimm at the 30. trying to go wide. Now up the middle, 35, and hit hard as he comes across the 35 of the 36-yard line. What a tackle by Larry Krause. And that's one of his specialties, is getting down the field in a hurry.
Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.
WNFL is Green Bay.
When it rains, it pours, I guess, as far as injuries are concerned. One of the positions that's been hit hard in the early season, offensive tackle, and Francis Tay has been administered to on the far sideline. We don't know if he'll be back or not. 1st and 10 for the Vikings at their own 36-yard line. Give to Oscar Reed. He's straightened up as he comes into the middle of the line. I mean straightened up. He was hit hard as he moves the ball for 2 yards to the 38-yard line. 2nd down 8. Just give credit to the entire defensive front four on that particular play, as Oscar Reed was greeted very roughly as he tried to penetrate the interior of the defensive front wall. Brings up 2nd down 8 from the 38-yard line. Washington split to the near side, and also split out is Clint Jones, only one set running back. Back to throw Quazzo at the 30-yard line. Near side, Jones, incomplete. Fred Carr defending against him. The ball a little bit tall, and Jones couldn't come up with it.
It would appear that Francis Tay may be due for the afternoon, Gary, as you said, because he's trying to walk around and put full pressure on his right leg. And so far, every time he does put the full pressure on it, he grimaces. I think he's not going to play much more, at least not in this quarter, because he can just barely move.
That was real genius on the Packers staff to activate Forrest Gregg at the start of the year. I don't know what we would have done without him now. He had to play the entire game last week against Atlanta. Let's hope that Hayhoe and Hines are physically able to play. At the 40, make that the 38-yard line. It'll be 3rd down 8. 1 minute, 11 seconds to go in the first quarter. The Packers lead 3-0 on a 27-yard field goal by Dale Livingston. Here's a 3rd down call. Quazzo back to throw. Penetration made, and he's thrown for a loss. Back at the 26-yard line. Lionel Aldridge and Mike McCoy getting through on that 3rd down call and throwing Quazzo all the way back to the 27-yard line.
We've had 7 third down plays in this first quarter, 4 by the Packers, 3 by the Minnesota Vikings. None have been converted. We've had only 1 first down the entire afternoon.
McNeil will kick from the 15-yard line. Travis Williams, Willie Wood standing at the Packer 30 with 53 seconds to go in the first quarter. 3-0, Green Bay. The snap, the boot by McNeil. End over end kick. Fair catch called for by Willie Wood at the 36-yard line. And the crowd anticipating that possibly he should have tried to run it.
That makes 2 of the kicks by the Minnesota Vikings that the Packers have not run back. And again, I think the crowd is not taking into account the fact that Green Bay's looking right into the sun, Gary. The first and initial thing they want to do is catch the football and maintain possession, not make an error and give Minnesota the field position like they would get if we should fumble the ball back here. And so you have to go along with the Packers' thinking. They do not want to make an error. That's why the fair catches are being called.
That was the 36-yard kick by Tom McNeil. At the 36-yard line, the Packers have it 1st and 10. 20 seconds to go in the first quarter. Play action fake. Starr wanting to throw, in trouble. Now running up the 40. He fights his way across the 45 to the 46-yard line. That's close to a 1st and 10. As Starr doing quite a job ad-libbing, and listen to the crowd. It's going to bring an end to the first quarter, and after 1 quarter of play from County Stadium, the Packers 3, the Vikings nothing. This is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.
This should be good news if you happen to be a contractor, a businessman, or a farmer who's looking for some real capital to work with. Because Thorpe Finance will lend it to you. For Thorpe has the sound cash reserves and the extensive lending facilities to offer large amounts of money. $10,000, $20,000, $25,000. Even larger loans can be arranged too, and promptly. An important feature of Thorpe's service is flexible terms to fit the large borrower's income pattern, whether it be seasonally or monthly. There are over 125 Thorpe offices throughout the Midwest offering such financial service, along with Thorpe's regular personal loans. To find the Thorpe office nearest you, get further information, or arrange your loan, simply consult your yellow pages. That's Thorpe Finance.
Well, what a job the defense did in the first quarter. Tom Kaminsky points out that the Vikings have a total offense of 23 yards in that first period of play.
And only one first down. And they were held on 3 third-down plays. The defense, of course, is going to have to continue to do that kind of play all throughout the afternoon because it will be tough to score against Minnesota. Packers with a 3-0 lead. They need to get in again and put some breathing room, and then you can really begin to operate.
After that last play, a 9-yard scramble by Bart Starr. Second down 1 at the 45-yard line. Starr gives off to Anderson. He has a 1st and 10, breaks some tackles, and comes up to the 49-yard line. He was sending that one back against the defense and almost broke to the outside. Carl Kasoki made the tackle. 1st and 10 Packers from their own 49-yard line. As they've been able now to establish some ground ball control with 14:39 to go, just underway second quarter. 3-0, the Packers. To the near side, Clancy split out. Far side, Carroll Dale. Williams and Anderson split in the backfield. No changes offensively except Hayhoe replaced the injured Francis Fay. Back to throw Starr. He's in trouble, and he's thrown for a loss clear back to the 38-yard line. Bart Starr was just smothered. Alan Page got through. Carl Eller got through. Also getting through was Wally Hildenberg, as he had no chance that time to throw the ball. Lost clear back to the 39-yard line. It'll bring up second down around 22 yards to go.
The Minnesota Vikings had a blitz on that time. It came from Lonnie Warwick straight up the middle. Warwick didn't get to Bart Starr. He got to him from the sides, but he caused Bart to have to retreat and change his mind about throwing the football. Upsets the whole play, and that was Lonnie Warwick straight down the middle.
They put Hackbart in for Larson on a passing situation. They call him the 5th back. As Larson, the big tackle, is gone, they only have 3 men down that defensive front wall on a second down 20 call from the 39-yard line. Starr gives to Donnie Anderson, swinging the near side, 40, lowers his head and comes up to the 43-yard line. And that is a hard way to earn some yardage, as he was hit hard by Marshall, Hackbart, and also Hildenberg. It's going to bring up third down, still long yardage to go. The initial line of scrimmage is the 49-yard line. They are now at their own 43. 13:29 to go in the second quarter. 3-0. The Packers huddle back at the 30-yard line with that 3-point advantage. And thus far, they've more than held their own in this football game. Dale Clancy splits to the far side of the field, and now Hilton splits to the near side, as they have 3 wide receivers on this particular formation. A give up the middle to Travis Williams, and he's clotheslined. And I believe a flag is going to be thrown. He came across the 45 to the 46. He may have tackled him by the face mask as Williams went down as quick as you can hit the turf. He was really clotheslined by Hildenberg.
An excellent call on the part of Bart Starr. Again, Travis Williams within just a step or two of breaking that ball and getting to the outside, and might have gone a long, long way. But the official was right on top of the play, Gary. He didn't hesitate 1 second. He grabbed that flag as quickly as he could because Travis was jerked off his feet, and we think it was Hildenberg.
Williams would just as soon pick up the 1st and 10 some other way,
Yes,
but
sir. That hurt.
We'll take it. At the 39-yard line, 1st and 10 in Viking territory. Flip to the far side, Clancy along with Dale. Bart Starr now splits Anderson and Travis Williams in his backs. Gives off to Travis Williams. He skips across the 35. He's up to the 34-yard line. Williams doing a remarkable job of following that offensive charge. Alan Page along with Carl Eller credited the tackle. As the front wall that time of Gregg and Gillingham through the block. And this offensive front wall is establishing themselves in the early going in this football game. It'll bring up second down 5, a pickup of 5 by the Roadrunner. At the 34-yard line, the Packers moving from right to left in the second quarter. Dale Clancy splits to the far side. They're in the I formation. A run out of it is a quick pitch to Anderson, swinging the near side, the 30, the 25, the 20, 15. He tucks out of bounds at the 12-yard line. Donnie Anderson eventually drilled out by Paul Trout.
But again, Bart Starr caught the Minnesota Vikings in a blitz, and he flipped it outside quickly. Bill Luke gave him the block that broke it open. We were talking about just within a step of getting some good running yardage for the Green Bay Packers. That time, Bart Starr on an excellent call caught the Minnesota Vikings in the wrong defense. Now, whether he checked off the line, you never know. But he certainly called the right play in the right situation.
They marked the ball at the 13-yard line, a 21-yard gain by Donnie Anderson. The Packers now playing right on top of the dirt infield area. Bowman snaps, Back to throw, Starr. Up the middle. It's intercepted by Paul Krause at the goal line. He's going to run it out. 5-yard line. He's going wide now to 10, and he drops at the 14-yard line. Krause caught the ball intended for Jack Clancy. He might have stayed in the end zone and been better off, but he tried to run it out and it dropped at the 14.
Well, I think on Paul Krause's part, he was indecisive on whether he had gotten into the end zone or not on his own momentum, and so he decided that he had to run the ball. Also, he was looking for his teammates to form the blocking. That's what slowed him up initially, and then the Packers were able to come back and make the tackle. Clancy was there, but Krause from his free safety just drifted over. I would imagine that Bart never saw him.
Actually, that's one of those plays that could have gone either way. As pointed out, Clancy was open, and just by a matter of seconds, he was able to step in front of Clancy, intercept it, and scramble out to the 14-yard line.
There are so many key plays in a ball game of this magnitude, and that certainly would have to be one of them. The Packers had done very well driving that ball all the way down to the 12-yard line, where they were within at least a sure field goal range, you would think, or the possible touchdown that could have put them ahead 10-0 in the ball game, which changes the entire strategy of a contest. But you can see what a team can do if it has field position. The Packers certainly had opened up their game a great deal more down here in the end zone and in the field area of the Minnesota Vikings. Were able to run better plays. The Vikings have to adjust their defense a little bit more down in this area until the Packers can pick at it and work at it. But unfortunately for the Packers, fortunately for the Vikings, they picked that one off.
With 12:13 to go before halftime, the Vikings have it on the interception. 1st and 10 at their own 14-yard line. 3-0. Green Bay leads this one. Jerry Quazzo on 1st down. Back to throw from the 5. Far side. Washington way overthrown. Incomplete. Bob Jeter defending against Gene Washington. Quazzo that time overthrew him by 5 feet. As the big Michigan State All-American had no chance to get to that ball. Quazzo had protection as he went back to the 5, and that's twice now on 1st down that Quazzo is elected to go to the airways. Brings up 2nd down 10 from the 14-yard line. Bob Grimm comes split to the near side, the far side, Gene Washington. Reed takes the snap, comes straight ahead across the 15 to the 16 for a pickup of 2, and that's all. Bring up 3rd down 8 as Bob Brown dropped him, and the Vikings having a difficult time running against the forward wall of the Packers. Clock running with 11:52 to go in the second quarter. At the 16-yard line, the Vikings have it 3rd down and 8 yards to go. Quazzo 1 for 6 in the passing department thus far. Washington split to the near side, the far side, Bob Grimm. From the 16-yard line, Mick Tingeloff snaps it to Quazzo. Play action fake, back to throw, rush put on, up the middle, incomplete. And Mike McCoy was the guy that intimidated Quazzo. He about ripped his arm off when he threw the ball.
I was watching on that play, Gary, the play of Ken Ellis and Gene Washington, and Ellis really held up Gene Washington at the line of scrimmage. He hit him once and hit him a second time, and Washington never did get away from Ellis. Now, the play was going to the other side, but Washington would have had no chance to get to any kind of a football.
Well, the defense holds, and McNeil will kick from the 3-yard line. Wood and Travis Williams standing at the Packer 40. The snap, the boot. A spiraling kick down to the 40-yard line. Wood's got it. He's coming down to the near side, the 45, trying to get some blocking help, and he comes up to the 48-yard line before he's down. Willie Wood started the far side, reversed his field, came to the 48-yard line before Ed White, the second-year man from California, made the stop.
You can see the difference in an experienced run-back man for punch. That time, Wood found that he was going to be stopped at the 45-yard line. He was hemmed in there, so instead of trying to just run around and get some more room, he lowered his head and got the extra 3 yards.
45-yard kick and 9-yard return by Willie Wood. The Packers at their own 48-yard line, 1st and 10, leading 3-0. Give to Travis Williams, tries to cut to the far side, and comes up to the 50-yard line. Pickup of 2 yards. Roy Winston, a veteran linebacker, former All-American for Louisiana State, makes the tackle. It'll bring up 2nd down 8, the ball on top of the 50-yard line. 10:39 to go before halftime. 3-0, the Packers. As back at the 40-yard line, Green Bay, directed by the veteran Bart Starr, Bray Guttle. To the near side, split out comes Carroll Dale. The far side, Jack Clancy. The Packers doing quite a job thus far in the opening action. Starr back to throw, has protection, far sideline. Clancy tries to make the grab. He does, but he's out of bounds. Clancy tried to stretch as far as he could and keep his feet in bounds, but he could not. It's incomplete.
So far in the game, Gary, the Green Bay Packers have 68 yards rushing on the ground, and I dare say we haven't had 68 yards in the game against the Minnesota Vikings in the last couple of years. The Packers have been able to run the ball. Of course, Donnie Anderson's 21-yard run helps out a great deal, but we've only played about 20 minutes of this ball game.
Starr now 2 for 7, 16 yards. To the near side, split out, Carroll Dale. Shorter, split out, near the offensive line is John Hilton. The far side, Clancy. Anderson, Travis Williams, the running back, on a 3rd down 8 call. Starr, quick look in past it. Anderson across the 50, down 45, the 43. Had he not fallen, he might have picked up the 1st and 10. It appears he's about a yard short. Williams stumbled as he was able to elude one tackler at the 50-yard line. It's going to bring up 4th down, a yard to go. And the Packers evidently are not going to go for it. It's early in the football game with 9:54 as they come in now, huddled back at their own 45-yard line.
Those low kicks of Livingston have said that the Packers will punt rather than try to kick, because if you block it, then Minnesota again gets a good field position.
Anderson will kick from the 40. An unfortunate break for Donnie as he had the move made. A low snap. It's coming down at the 2-yard line and goes in for the touchback. Dave Hampton was down there, but he couldn't get there in time to kill it. And at the 20-yard line, the Vikings will take over, 1st and 10. 9:28 to go here in the first half of activity. 3-0. The Packers now set up defense. You know, you look back in this first part of the game, and 2 plays now that really hurt. The interception, which was so close, and then Anderson on that last play stumbling and not quite picking up the 1st and 10. And, of course, the Vikings, I'm sure, can look back themselves, but you have to remember those in the opening minutes of action. At the 20-yard line, the Vikings with Gary Quazzo in command. Long snap, he gives off, running straight ahead, Bill Brown across the 25, and the veteran is able to move it out to the 27-yard line, a pickup of 7. Ray Nitschke made the stop. As now we have some changes. Dave Osborne and Bill Brown have come in at the running back spot, replacing Clint Jones and Oscar Reed. And Bill Brown, for so many years, has been called a complete football player.
Another final score, St. Louis 20, Dallas 7.
2nd down 3 from the 27-yard line. The Vikings moving from left to right with 8:58 to go in the second quarter. But to the near side, Washington, far side, Grimm. A give to Dave Osborne, trying to swing the far side. He's at 25, 27, and he dropped for no gain. Ray Nitschke, who now has made 2 back-to-back tackles, dropped Osborne, and it'll bring up 3rd down and still 3 yards to go as the wide play was diagnosed well by the Packers. They're going to actually give him about a yard on the play to the 28-yard line, so it'll bring up 3rd down and a long 2 to go. So a 3rd down again, staring the Vikings in the face. Grimm comes to the near side. Washington's in tight. Only one wide receiver on this 3rd down and a long 2 call. Quazzo takes the snap. He gives off to Osborne, and I don't believe he made it. The defensive interior led by Rich Moore. Nice in, and he is short of the 30-yard line where they need to go.
5 times this afternoon, the Minnesota Vikings have had 3rd down plays. 5 times they have been stopped. And so the Green Bay Packer defense, led by that front 4 of Lionel Aldridge, Mike McCoy, Rich Moore, and Bob Brown, certainly have played very well here in the early part of this ball game.
Wood and Williams at the 30-yard line for the anticipated kick from Tom McNeil, who stands at the 15-yard line. McNeil has kicked the ball well. Here's the snap, the boot, a beautiful kick. Travis Williams backpedals, has it inside the 30-yard line, gets up to the 30, cuts his way up to the 33, and Dale Hackbart tried to tear his head off. Hackbart is considered to be one of the most punishing tacklers in football, and he shows why on that particular play. They marked the ball at the 33-yard line, and Travis Williams, Jim, has really taken some shots in this game.
You'll notice now that the Packers have that stun to their back, they are not calling the fair catch anymore. They're running with the football because they can pick it up the minute it comes off the toe of the kicker, and they can follow the flight of it and have a better chance to catch it.
42-yard kick, a 4-yard return by Travis Williams. At the 33-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Packers. 7:05 to go in the first half. Bart Starr gives off to Donnie Anderson, and Anderson is able to move it forward for 2 yards to the 35-yard line. Gary Larson credited with the tackle for that Viking front wall. As Anderson didn't have much running room, was able to punch it forward for 2 hard-earned yards. 2nd down, 8. The Packers have been able now in the second quarter to get good field position. They need to move the ball again. Last time they had to give it up inside Viking territory. And now in their own territory at the 35. Dale splits to the near side. Clancy the far side. Hilton was the wrong side. Now comes into a tight end spot on the near side of the field. Second down, 8 from the 35. Give to Donnie Anderson up across the 40. He's up to the 43-yard line. That is close to a 1st and 10. It appears he made it. We'll wait to see as Anderson, weaving his way up there, got a big block by Bill Hayhoe, and I believe they're going to measure. Let's hope we weren't premature in that one.
John Horn said in our pregame interview that Lionel Aldridge did with him that the Packers must establish a ground game here this afternoon, and the Packers have done that by keeping the Minnesota Vikings off balance. They get them going one way. That's the first down for the Green Bay Packers, by the way. They get the defense going one way, and they're running the ball carrier back against the grain. They're faking one way and going the other.
Well, that was very, very close, but they made it. That's all that counts. It's the 43-yard line. The Packers now 1st and 10. Anderson, 9 carries, 43 yards against one of the fine defensive teams. Dale Clancy comes split to the near side. As Bart Starr has Anderson, Travis Williams set behind him as running back. 1st and 10 call from the 43. Play action fake. Back to throw Starr. Up the middle. Complete to Anderson. The midfield strike. He finds his way to the 48. There is a flag on the play. Starr was hit just as he released the ball by Carl Eller. Donnie Anderson caught the pass, and the flag went into the air just about the time Anderson caught the football. Donnie Anderson doing quite a job both running as well as receiving. Looks like it may be holding against the Packers.
Well, the man who it is called against is Forrest Gregg. Gregg was sitting on the turf when the flag was thrown. He knew that he had done it. I think Gregg probably said something like, "Gad burn it, I got caught." But he had a great rush against him, and he didn't have much choice. He was trying to protect Bart Starr. And so it really hurts the Green Bay Packers, moving them all the way back to the 18-yard line. Now they're going to converse again and say, no, maybe that's a 20-yard penalty. Where am I going to put it? Nobody seems to know exactly among the official crew where they want to put the football. Now they go to the 22 or 3-yard line.
And anticipating a pass on this 1st and long yardage situation, Gary Larson leaves and Dale Hackbart comes in, as we told you before, as the 5th back. They'll be doing this through the course of the afternoon. It will be 1st down, 22 yards to go with 5:40 remaining in the first half. The ball finally spotted at the 22-yard line. The original line of scrimmage is the 43. Well, Clancy and Dale with the near side for the Packers. There's a give up the middle to Travis Williams. He finds his way across the 25 up to the 27-yard line. Williams, again, able to move behind that offensive forward wall. And the Packers, as Jim pointed out, doing a very good job on the ground.
Gary, the one thing the Green Bay Packers are thinking right here at this point, the Minnesota Vikings are expecting pass, and you can make a very serious error if you throw an interception this deep in your own territory and with this many yards to go for a 1st down. You lead 3-0, so you would tend to be somewhat more conservative. I wouldn't be surprised if we threw a pass, but I would think that Bart Starr would be very careful about where he threw it.
The ball at the 27-yard line. 2nd down, 17 yards to go. Put to the near side is Hilton. There's a draw up the middle, given to Donnie Anderson across the 30, up to the 35-yard line. Fine ball handling by Bart Starr. At that time, he gave off to Anderson. He's been faking that. This time, Donnie is able to ramble the 35, shake it up a little bit as he trots off on the far side, and Dave Hampton replaces him. Alan Page made the tackle. We're going to bring up 3rd down. And there's still around 15 yards to go as the ball marked at the 35-yard line. Coming to the near side, Carroll Dale on a 3rd down, 15 call as Anderson shaken up on the last play. Dave Hampton along with Travis Williams, the running back. At the 35, Bart Starr on the long count. Gives on to Williams.
Talking about a very conservative effort on the part of the Green Bay Packers there in order not to put the ball up for grabs and give Minnesota a shot at a good, easy touchdown down deep in that territory.
Livingston is coming into punt, so Anderson shaken up enough that he can't come in and kick. So Dale Livingston will kick from the 25-yard line. West is deep.
They're going to run.
And also Bob Grimm. Here's the snap, the boot. A good one. A booming kick. Back inside the 15 is Bob Grimm. Coming to the near side of the field. The 15. Skips the tackler. The 20. The 25. The 30. The 35 and knocked out of bounds at the 37-yard line by Larry Krause. Boy, for a moment, it looked like he might have an alley down the near sideline and go all the way. As time is called with 3:24 to go in the first half, the Packers 3, the Vikings nothing. This is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.
An interesting fact, most people drive for less than 20 minutes and stop and drive again. Maybe that's what you're doing right now. Well, the first few minutes you drive, the minutes it takes to warm up your car, are the dirtiest few minutes. Another interesting fact, we blended Enco Extra to help clean up those minutes. Enco Extra starts your car fast, warms it up fast, gets it running smooth fast. And a car that's doing that is running clean fast. Enco Extra also keeps your car running clean because it contains a powerful carburetor cleaner called Vitane 7. And Enco Extra delivers smooth performance all the time you drive. It's a pretty nice little package, Enco Extra is. It runs clean, runs smooth, to help your car run clean. And that is really awfully nice for everybody. Enco Extra.
The Green Bay Packers with 96 rushing yards here in the first half.
The Vikings at the 37-yard line in their own territory. 1st and 10 after that fine return by Bob Grimm. There's a draw up the middle to Dave Osborne up the 40, and he's able to go to the 44-yard line. Dave Osborne, the hard running back, hitting off the left-hand side, eventually dropped by Dave Robinson. Osborne, a starter a year ago, was a leading rusher. He's considered also to be an excellent blocker, but he's lost his starting call to Clint Jones. They're trying to earn it back here this afternoon. 2nd down 3, a pickup of 7. The ball marked at the Viking 44-yard line. Quanzo back to throw. Far side. It's complete to Osborne. He drops at the 49-yard line immediately. He was really hit by Fred Carr. It's enough for the 1st and 10, however, as Osborne is able to latch on it, dropped immediately. He went to 1st and 10 territory, and then the ball was there. At the 49 in Viking territory, 1st and 10, 2:34 left to go in the first half. And now the Packers are going to have to stop him from another 1st and 10, or they'll be getting close to field goal range for Fred Cox. Bozzo back to throw again. Far side. It is caught by Washington. Somehow he caught it at the 47-yard line after it was deflected by Bob Teeter. Eventually, Fred Carr was able to knock him out of bounds, but Washington made some kind of a reception on a deflected pass. It's going to bring up 2nd down and still 7 yards to go.
You know, when the family goes into a huddle over finances, the best call you can make is to your Thorpe office manager. He'll lend you $50,000 or $5,000 or more promptly.
The Packers now being thrown against as Quanzo's going to the airways, throwing the short passes. Now Bob Brown jumps offside. The flag's in the air. They won't even execute the play. Bob Brown jumping offside. Let's see if he was drawn off or looks like he stepped off on his own. As the Vikings clapping their hands, anticipating a step off of 5 yards, which is close to 1st and 10 territory. It's going to be about 2 yards short. So with the aid of an offside call now, with a 2nd down and about 1.5 to go, what will Quanzo do? Probably go to the airways and then probably come back and try to pick up that short yardage. Let's see. Flip to the near side is Henderson in the ball game. Give to Bill Brown, swinging the far side. He sheds one tackler, and he's down to the 40 before he's knocked out of bounds. He was able to bounce off of Ray Nitschke, and then on the far sideline, Willie Wood grounds him outside at the 40-yard line. And let's see, did they make the 1st and 10? They're going to measure to see, as they'll have to take the chain clear across the field.
Another baseball score for you in the 4th inning. Baltimore leading the Minnesota Twins by the score of 3-0. Baltimore already leads in that series by 1-0. 2 minutes, 16 seconds remaining to be played in Minnesota, with an opportunity here at the Green Bay Packer 41-yard line, and it would appear that they have a 1st down, and they do at the 41-yard line. 1st and 10 for Minnesota. And the Green Bay Packers leading 3-0, but now that lead is being threatened.
It's interesting that Quanzo now, on this particular series, has started throwing more, trying to throw the short out pattern to all of his receivers, his running backs as well as his wide receivers. And he's had success. At the 41 of the Packers, at 1st and 10, 2 minutes, 16 seconds to go in the first half. 3-0, the Packers lead. Grimm split to the near side. The far side is John Henderson. Running back Brown and Osborne. Quanzo back to throw at the midfield stripe. Has protection. He's hit from behind. Lionel Aldridge. Aldridge hitting from the blind side just as Quazzo set to throw. And that's the big defensive play the Packers needed.
Well, the ground kind of shuddered there for a moment because Vinyl did not tap him. He hit him at the 48-yard line. And Aldridge made the circle route that time. He went outside his defender and came back around from behind and made the hit, and Quazzo never saw him coming. And you could just see Quazzo shudder when he was hit.
And now we're going to have the 2-minute warning on a 3rd down 10. We'll be back with more of the play-by-play with the Packers leading the Vikings 3-0. This is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.
You know, you hear how easy it is to borrow money from Thorpe. And I'll tell you why it is. First of all, you deal with friendly, experienced financial people who are in business to lend you money. You can borrow all you need, up to $5,000 or more, for any reason. Thorpe loan arrangements are simple, with terms fitted to your ability to pay, so you don't overburden your paycheck. And to make borrowing more prompt and easier than ever, you can telephone ahead. Set up your Thorpe loan in the privacy of your own home, and find your money all ready and waiting for you at Thorpe.
Thorpe makes it happen today. It's going to bring up 2nd down, 15 yards to go. It's that last play at the 48-yard line. Quazzo back to throw. He tried to set up a screen. It's incomplete, intended for Bill Brown. As the Packers may have anticipated that particular play because they deployed themselves so well against the screen. Mike McCoy was putting on the pressure, and further up the field, help was given by almost the entire defensive linebacking corps.
Ray Nitsky was right in the middle of that screen. He was standing next to Bill Brown, and both he and Brown were trying to get to the football, and Brown wanted to just kind of knock it down.
3rd down. They say 16 yards to go from the Packer 48-yard line. The Packers need to hold here with 1:55 to go in the first half. Quazzo back to throw again. Up the middle, he's going. Down there is Bob Grimm. It is intercepted by Willie Wood. Wood's got it. 15, 20, 25, 30. He's up to the 33-yard line before he's dropped. And that was so close. It looked like Grimm was all by himself, and all of a sudden Willie Wood got there.
Well, that's typical of the interception by Paul Krause. Willie Wood is the free safety. He is floating there, waiting for the ball to come down, and now a flag has been added onto that. And they move the ball all the way out to the 49-yard line of the Green Bay Packers in great field position after Willie Wood's interception. But, Gary, Willie Wood had his eye on the ball from the minute it was thrown. He was just floating there and waiting, and he was in the right spot at the right time, and the Packers in business.
Fred Carr on that run back threw some kind of a block for Willie Wood. 1st and 10 for the Packers at their own 49-yard line. 1:42 to go in the first half. The Packers lead 3-0. Starr back to throw. Far side, Clancy. He makes a grab inside the 40, but they say he was out of bounds. Clancy, they say, was out of bounds at the 38.
10 seconds for station identification. This is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.
WNFL, Green Bay.
Well, that's twice now that Jack Clancy's been so close to making receptions, but he's run out of room. And that time, the crowd trying to help the official felt that he was inbound, but the official right on top of the play. At the 49-yard line, 2nd down, 10 for the Packers. 1:38 to go in the first half. 3-0. Green Bay on top. 2 people split to the near side, Clancy and Dale. There's the give up the middle to Donnie Anderson. He comes across the 50 to the 49. Looked like for a moment he had a tough time getting the ball. Wally Hildenberg, the defensive right linebacker, made the stop. A pickup of 2. It'll be 3rd down, 8 for the Packers. 1:22, the clock running. As the Packers have come to play here today, and what a battle this is, and what a battle it's going to be in the second half. The clock running at 1:12, the Packers taking their time at the 40-yard line on a 3rd down, 8 call. Dale comes running out the near side, split out. Clancy to the far side. They're just in Viking territory at the 49-yard line. The running backs, Anderson and Travis Williams. Art Starr takes the snap, back to throw, rush put on. He's in trouble. He's scrambling. He's thrown all the way back to the 31-yard line. Carl Eller and Alan Page came through as quick as you can get to somebody. Starr tried to scramble away from him. They marked the ball back at the 33-yard line.
That's the best possible rush by any defensive unit. You rush from the left side and the right side, and when the quarterback makes the turn to reverse his field and go the other way, he's facing the other defensive man, and he has no place to go. Today's attendance, 47,967.
That was an 18-yard loss on the last play, and on fourth down and about 26 yards to go, Anderson will kick it. He's back in now after Livingston kicked the last one. He'll stand at the 18. Grimm and West stand at the 27-yard line for Minnesota. The snap, perfect. The boot of beauty. Anderson really kicked that one down to the 10-yard line. It's going to be killed inside the 10 at the 7. Well, I don't believe it's possible to kick a ball any better than that.
You can't do it any better. You're absolutely right. And the Green Bay Packers had excellent coverage. Now, the difference between that kick by Donnie Anderson and the one before by Dale Livingston, that one got up in the air and floated. The defensive coverage was down there. They had time to get down the field. The Minnesota defenders knew that there was no reason to pick it up, and they're going to let the clock run out. They're not even going to try to go.
With 7 seconds, that was a 59-yard kick by Anderson. It was just picturesque all the way. And there's the end of the first half of play. They score at halftime. The Green Bay Packers 3. The Minnesota Vikings, nothing. This is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.
We're from Milwaukee, and we all know it's good old Blackstreet wherever you go. Egg cans and bottles all taste the same. The three best is on beer, Black is the name.
The three best beers in America is Good Old Black. Sure, Good Old Blatz in bottles, Good Old Blatz in cans, and Good Old Blatz in kegs. That's because the Blatz people take the time and the trouble to put that same great beer in all three. You can taste the quality that made Blatz Milwaukee's finest beer for over 100 years. Like they say in the song,
Egg cans and bottles all taste the same. The three best is on beer, Black is the name.
Ask the word.
Good old Black is there.
From the Good Old Blatz Brewing Company, division of G. Highland Brewing Company.
It's halftime at County Stadium. 3-0. The Packers lead. They dented the scoring column with 7:37 to go in the first quarter as Dale Livingston hit a 27-yard field goal. The Packers threatened one other time, only to be intercepted in the end zone, and they have more than held their own defensively in a football game that shows why the Central Division is labeled the Black and Blue League. If you watch this game, you can see why, as there is some real hitting going on.
Well, we're going to have a special guest for you at halftime as soon as he gets through eating his hot dog and his hamburger and everything else. Jerry, get over there by that microphone and put the earphones in your ear, because I know our guest here at halftime with the sandwich and everything else is Jerry Kramer, formerly of the Green Bay Packers. And Jerry, it's awfully nice to see you back here in Milwaukee again.
Yeah, let me tell you, this date has been one of the most enjoyable ball games I have ever experienced. You know, when you were playing, or when I was playing, when we played together in Green Bay. When I was playing, you always had that tremendous pressure and a tremendous amount of responsibility for a ball game. And I used to say so many times that when I finished playing, I was going to sit in the stands, I was going to have a beer, I was going to have a hot dog, I was going to boo, going to scream, going to holler. And I did some television work, and I was always concerned with memorizing my players, the numbers, the names, all the information there. So I never had the opportunity to relax. Today, I am relaxed.
Jerry, I recall in the 1968 National Football League Championship game, we went to Cleveland. It was Cleveland and Baltimore, and one of the first games that you had seen as a professional that you were not playing in, and certainly the first championship game in a long, long time. And it was a little difficult for you that day to sit there and watch and not play.
Yes, it was, Jimmy. You know, oddly enough, the band in the pregame activities played a song that kind of hit me right in the head. It was "I'll Never Stop Loving You," and this is generally thought of as a romantic tune, you know, and you're thinking about your girl and things like that. But I happen to be looking at Kenny Bowman and Forrest Gregg and Gillingham, those big dummies down there on the field, and God, I wish I was down there. And I guess that song was very appropriate for me, Jim. I guess I'll never stop loving them.
Gary Bender just mentioned a moment ago, they call the Central Division the Black and Blue Division. And I think what we saw here in the first half of this game bears that out. I've seen hard hitting, but not much more than this.
Jim, it's been a great football game. Obviously, a little prejudice from the Packer viewpoint, but it's been a great football game today. The defensive team has played outstanding football, without question. The whole Minnesota to 0 points the first half. It's got to be a great football game. But Bart, I've been very happy with Bart. I know Bart is really suffering regardless of his performance on the field. He is suffering, and he's got some severe rib injuries. But he's the kind of a guy that when he's hurting and when he's got a problem, he's going to come right back and stick it in your ear. He's going to give you his best shot, and he's going to expose himself, and he's going to do his best. And he has done that, and so far, he's been fortunate. He hasn't really been hit hard, or he's been tackled a couple times, but the contact has not been very solid, and it hasn't hurt him. And the offensive line has been doing a fine job. They've been opening up some holes at the Minnesota defensive line. The purple people eaters, as the Vikings have been called on occasion, have a fine defensive line, and I guess they would have to rate among the top in the league. And the offensive line has been doing a great job.
Yes, Gary, they have 98 yards rushing here in the first half alone, and that against the Minnesota Vikings is somewhat surprising, and yet the Packers said before they had to establish the ground game. They've done that.
That's right, Jim. 98 yards is a very respectable total for a whole game, let alone a first half. And I think they opened the game with a running play on the inside tackle, trying to show the Minnesota Vikings something or trying to establish something, and they have obviously done that. They have gone at their strength. I don't think there's any question in anybody's mind that the strength of the Minnesota Vikings is in their defensive line. And they have gone at that defensive line and penetrated. And if they can keep the attitude and things going in the second half, we're going to be all right.
They tested Ken Ellis with Gene Washington a couple of times, but Ken came away all right.
Yes, he did. Really, he's doing a fine job. Gene Washington, is one of the premier pass receivers in the National Football League. Without question, again, he is a fine athlete. He's got great ability. He's got great height. He times the ball well, and he just does a tremendous job. And I think that Ken Ellis has just done a real fine job on it.
Sure, you had an opportunity during the preseason to get a pretty good look at the Chicago Bears. You were doing some color on some of their stomach cats. I'd be interested to know if the Bears have improved that much. They have a 2-0 record. Are they coming back, and are they a contender?
Jim, I don't know if many people have heard me talk too many times about football, but it's my opinion that football is a mental situation. It requires a burn, a desire, a hunger, a need, an emotional thing to excel. The Chicago Bears went through the exhibition season looked like Ned the third reader. They really looked bad. They went 12 quarters without scoring a touchdown, and they really looked bad. And they knew they weren't that bad, and they had to prove it, and they did. Now, depending upon their mental attitude at this moment, they can continue, and they can give Detroit a tremendous football game tomorrow. They're not a good football team physically. Their quarterback, Jack Concannon, is a great kid, and he's doing a tremendous job, but he doesn't have the tools. He is really not a great quarterback. Their offensive line is humming. Their defense is not the greatest in the league, let me say that. But attitude, thinking, emotion, these few things can make the difference. And if they get their head up and they get on this cloud of hope, it can carry them, or it can be a great football game Monday night, or it can be a total disaster.
Well, I think what you have done in essence too is describe exactly what can happen here to the Green Bay Packers. Now they have their head up, and they lead by 3-0.
Absolutely, Jim. I don't think. I talked to someone here about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and they asked me what kind of a season I thought Green Bay would have. I said they could be 11-3 without any problem. They could take the division, or they could be 3-11. And if they get their heads down and they get their emotional state down, it's really probably extremely difficult for people to understand that a 280-pound tackle can either be a great tackle or a mediocre tackle or just a body on the field. but depending upon his mental attitude, that is exactly what can happen. And if they keep their attitude right, and if they put the effort forth, they can go all the way.
Jerry, I hated to interrupt your sandwich eating there. I suppose we'll see you several games before the season's over, won't we?
I hope so, Jim. I'm certainly going to be in Green Bay for the Bart Starr Day, the Ram game up there, and I'm going to do a little deer hunting, and I'm going to be around.
Okay, write a book or two.
I will.
Okay, Jerry, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to see you, and you know that very well. We
Thank you,
appreciate
Jim.
you coming by.
Thank you very much.
We'll continue with our halftime programming in just a moment. This is the Green Bay Packers Football Network.
He gets the okay. He's ready to run up, and the second half is underway. He hits it very well, deep in the end zone. Back there is West, and he will not try to run it out as Dale Livingston kicks that ball between the goalposts. And that's a good start for the Packers, as the Vikings will take over 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. The Vikings left to right, third quarter of play. Livingston's 27-yard field goal, the difference in this game, and a hard-hitting football game as we anticipated. To the near side, Bob Grant. Gene Washington split to the far side. Osborne and Brown now the running backs to start the third quarter. A give to Bill Brown, and he goes for a yard. Maybe he's wrestling there with Fred Carr. Carr and Brown weren't dancing together, but it looked like it, as they were wrestling in the vicinity of the 21-yard line. They move it to the 22, a pickup of 2. And that was not a friendly greeting. They were just trying to get one another down to the turf. So it's a 22, second down, 8. It's interesting to note that Brown and Osborne start this third quarter. Reed, along with Clint Jones, were the starting running backs as we open the ball game. Second down, 8 from the 22. Quazzo with the snap, back to throw. Looking the far side. The pass is incomplete. Bob Grimm defended against on the far side by Bob Jeter at the 28-yard line, as both of them went high into the air and could not come up the reception.
Gary, I can't remember when Bob Jeter was as aggressive. There is a flag on the play, or is as aggressive as he has been here today. He is really going after the football. Now, Minnesota is guilty of the infraction, but it would be third down and 8 if the Packers decline the penalty. Otherwise, the ball would only go back to about the 10-yard line or so. And so the Packers are going to decline that penalty, I believe, and leave it at the 22. They do decline it, holding against Minnesota. And so it brings up a third down situation.
And it puts the pressure on this third down call. Third down, 8 from the 22-yard line. Grimm comes to the near side. Washington to the far side. Osborne and Brown, the set running backs. And from the 22-yard line, already a big third down call. Quazzo back to throw. Looking the far side. He's in trouble. Scrambling, and he's cut from behind by Bobby Brown. Brown got him at the 19-yard line as he made a diving grab of him, as Quazzo had some running room, but Brown didn't get him.
The linebackers of the Green Bay Packers, dropped back about 5 yards. And then Ray Nitschke came over to the left side and picked up Bob Brown coming out of the backfield. Bill Brown of the Minnesota Vikings, so he could not be a receiver. And Nitschke had him well covered.
A loss of 3, fourth down. Coming up, 11 yards to go on the ball to 19. The snap to Tom McNeil. He hits it end over end. Travis Williams takes it to 50. He's the 45 and fights his way to the 43-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. Hap Barber, a rookie out of Mississippi, made the stop. A 35-yard kick. A return to the 43-yard line, and the Packers with good field position as they get the ball for the first time here in the second half. 13:48 to go in the third quarter. 3-0. Green Bay on top. But to the far side go Dale and Clancy. The running backs, Travis Williams and Donnie Anderson, on a 1st and 10 call from the Viking 43. Bart Starr on a long count takes the snap, gives to Travis Williams. He's straight ahead. He fights his way up to the 41-yard line. Pickup of 2 yards on the play and begrudgingly give it up. Lonnie Warwick, along with Wally Hillenberg, making the stop for the Vikings. Second down, 8 from the 41-yard line. As Travis Williams hitting inside, where it's very tough going this afternoon. Phil Hayhoe is in at offensive tackle as Francis Fay has not returned since being injured in the second quarter. Clancy split to the near side, the far side, Carroll Dale at the Viking 41. Second down, 8 call. 12:57 to go in the third quarter. Play action fake. Back to throw start. Far side to Dale. He makes the catch and steps out of bounds at the 32-yard line. 1st and 10. It looks like Dale got the 1st and 10. He just went to the 1st and 10 territory. Caught the ball, went out of bounds. but they're going to measure. Or are they? It looks like he made it. Yes, sir, he's got it. 1st and 10.
The reason I say he's got it, Gary, because Carroll Dale knew exactly what he was doing. He went down about 12 yards and then curled back, and he saw his spot on the field. He caught the football, knew he couldn't go any further, and he went out of bounds. He knew he had to get at least to the 32 or the 32.5-yard line. Beyond the 33, he was there, and that's where he stepped out.
Starr now 4 for 10 for 32 yards in the passing department. 2 receivers split to the near side. A 1st and 10 call. Give to Travis Williams. Swinging to the near side, the 30. He stays on his feet to the 26-yard line. Good job by the Roadrunner as Wally Hildenberg made the stop again. But Travis kept pumping those legs when somebody hit him in the vicinity of the 30-yard line. They're going to mark the ball at the 27. A pickup on the last play of 6 yards. 2nd down 4. The Packers with the ball for the first time here in the third quarter, trying to move it goalward. One other time they were driving this particular direction, only to be intercepted on the goal line. Dale, along with Clancy, go to the far side of the field. At the 27-yard line, 2nd down 4. The split back, Williams and Anderson. There's a give straight ahead to Travis Williams. He's hit hard and shoved back. Travis tried to get to the 25-yard line and ran into Alan Page. And that's all she wrote. Pickup of 2 yards is going to bring up 3rd down and still a good 3 yards to go.
10 seconds for station identification. This is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.
WNFL, Green Bay.
Packers have the ball just short of the Viking 25-yard line. Dale Clancy go to the far side. 3rd down of importance coming up. 11:30 to go in the third quarter. Bart Starr takes the snap. Back to throw. Throwing the far side is incomplete and almost intercepted by Roy Winston. Looked like that time Starr and Luke collided. As he tried to go back, he could not see over Luke.
I don't know what exactly happened to Bart. If he were throwing to a spot, Clancy had already passed that spot. It appeared just to be a very poor throw on the part of Bart Starr. And it could easily have been intercepted, except the linebacker, trying to cut back, couldn't quite make the reversal to get back to the football. So it's 4th down, and the Packers now have had 9 third-down tries and have converted one only by a penalty.
Here's a 32-yard field goal attempt coming up by Dale Livingston. Bart Starr to hold. Livingston thus far 1 for 1 this afternoon. Crowd gets quiet. The ball's down. The kick's on the way. End over end. And it is good. With 11:18 to go in the third quarter, the Packers take a 6-0 lead. This is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.
You probably feel that borrowing money is a personal matter. And that's the policy at Thorpe. A company whose business it is to handle your money needs without making it everybody else's business. There's no reason to go to your friends or fellow employees. You simply come to Thorpe and arrange for a prompt, paycheck-tailored loan with completely personal attention. In fact, with just your own signature alone, you can establish credit for borrowing up to $1,000. And our records show that when you apply for a signature loan, you're very likely to get it. At Thorpe.
Thorpe makes it happen today.
Of course, the importance of that second field goal now means that if Minnesota is to side with field goals, they have to do it with 2. And so far, the Packer defense is held, but it's a long way to go yet.
Livingston, thus far, the only guy to get on the scoreboard. 2 field goals, one of 32 and one of 27 yards. He'll kick off again. Jones and West stand on the goal line. They run up on the ball, and he hits a floater. Hits at the 5, hits high in the end zone. There'll be no return on this one, as West, very wisely, goes to one knee. So there's been no return on either kickoff here in the third quarter by Dale Livingston. They'll bring the ball out to the 20-yard line. The Packers now with a 6-0 lead. A typical battle between these two clubs. Low-scoring, a hard-hitting football game. At the 20, the Vikings break huddle. Bob Grimm split to the near side. The far side goes Gene Washington. Osborne and Brown still the running back here in the third quarter. Quanzo back to throw and first down. Far side complete to Osborne. He's knocked out of bounds at the 24-yard line. Defending was Willie Wood as Osborne made a fine catch and a ball thrown away from him. He could not stop his progress from going out of bounds after making the diving catch.
That was the secondary receiver he was throwing to that time. He wanted to go to Gene Washington deep, but Bob Jeter just was on him every step of the way. He had no chance to go there.
Pick up a 4 in the last play. Second down, 6 at the 24-yard line. Graham again comes to the near side of the field. Washington to the far side. 10:39 to go in the third quarter. 6-0. And jumping offside is Rich Moore. Moore is really unhappy. He's punishing himself. Walking around in circles, hitting himself in the thigh pads, helmet. And so 5 yards will be stepped off. And moves it very close to 1st and 10. It'll be second down and about a half yard to go. And could change the strategy of Jerry Quazzo, who had the play called but could not get it underway. Graham split to the near side, Washington to the far side. Second down, short yardage. A give up the middle to Bill Brown. He made it, but not after begrudgingly having to fight for it to the 31-yard line. Rich Moore made the stop. It'll bring up a 1st and 10 situation for the Vikings at the 31-yard line. 10:19 to go in the third quarter. As the Packers, hoping to maintain the good field position they've been able to get here in the third quarter. Graham to the near side. Again, Osborne Brown, the running back. 1st and 10 call from the 31. Quazzo back to throw. Throws up the middle. It's caught at the 35-yard line and shoved back is Dave Osborne. Osborne was hit immediately by Fred Carr. They advance the ball to the 36. A pickup of 5. It'll be second down 5. As now Quazzo throwing to his backs more than he is to his wide receivers. Osborne is an excellent football player. He, like Brown, can do it all. Block, run, as well as catch the football. At the 36, second down 5. Clock running, 9:35 to go in the third quarter. Washington split to the far side. The near side is Grimm. A give to Bill Brown. Swinging the far side. Gets a block. Across the 40. Up to 42. The ball is fumbled, but I believe the ball has been blown dead. It has. Brown lost the ball, but the whistle is blown at the 42-yard line. The Packers, led by Willie Wood defensively, really with a jarring tackle. It's the 1st and 10 for the Vikings.
Gary, once you hit the ground with that football, the instant you hit, then the play is automatically dead. Where you get the fumble, the loose ball, is when it drops out of your hands before you get down to the ground with the football. A lot of the fans don't understand that rule, but that's the way the rule reads.
1st and 10 from the 42. 9:04 to go in the third quarter. Grimm to the near side, far side, Gene Washington. Quazzo now moving his team effectively. Play action fake. Back to throw. Throwing to Grimm. Grimm can't make the grab at the 50-yard line. He put a move on Ken Ellis. What a move it was, but the ball overthrown.
That is the first time this afternoon that the Minnesota Vikings have been able to put together 2 first downs in any one series. And so the Packer defense is weakened just a little bit, but they need to tighten up now with a second down.
Clock stopped on the incomplete forward pass, showing 8:53. Second down 10 from the 42-yard line. The Vikings couldn't move the ball their first initial series, gave it up. The Packers picked up 3 points. And now, after 2 1st and 10s, they have it at the 42. Second down 10 call for Quazzo. Packers jumping back and forth. There's a give to Osborne up the middle. He's up the 45-yard line to the 46 before he's dropped. Rich Moore makes the stop, and it'll bring up a 3rd down and 5. Third, make it 6 yards to go. The ball just across the 45 to the 46, and here's a big 3rd down call again. We keep emphasizing that, but in a defensive struggle like today, they really seem to come to the forefront even more. To the near side, Grimm. Far side, Washington. At the 46. 3rd down, 6 call. 8:21 showing on the clock. Quazzo back to throw inside the 40-yard line. Looking up the middle. The pass caught by Bob Grimm at the 49-yard line. I don't believe he made it, or did he? Let's see where they mark it. It looks like the official may have given him the 1st and 10. From our vantage point, it looks like he caught it at the 49, but they mark it at about the 48. Dave Robinson made the tackle. And the Packer coach is a little upset to our right about the placement.
I think what the Packer coaches are upset about, they say that Grimm went back there on his own initiative, then was hit when he started his backward motion. He had the 1st down and then was driven backwards or went back on his own, and the officials say he was driven backwards. And if he made the 1st down, and it appears very close, did he or not? Yes, it is a 1st down. That is the first time in 8 tries this afternoon Minnesota has converted a 3rd down play.
Well, there's the case of just a matter of inches that moves the ball into Packer territory, and the Vikings getting closer now to field goal range. Fred Cox kicked a 47-yarder last week against the Saints. With 7:45 to go in the third quarter, 1st and 10 at the Packer 48-yard line. Quazzo on a long count. Gives straight ahead to Bill Brown, and Brown goes ahead for 2 yards, and that's all, as he comes up to the 46-yard line. Bob Brown stopped Bill Brown on that particular play. It'll bring up 2nd down 8 with 7:25 left to go in the third stanza. The Vikings running very effectively and throwing in spot performances by Quazzo, moving the ball from left to right effectively, eating up a lot of time on that clock. Grimm comes to near side. Osborne, Brown split the backfield. Only one wide receiver this time as Washington is in tight. Quazzo back to throw, looking straight up the field. The near side, Grimm, he makes the catch and goes out of bounds at the 42-yard line, aided by Ken Ellis. That time, Graham was able to latch onto it as Quazzo's been trying to hit him on 2 occasions. He missed earlier. It's going to bring up 3rd down, still 3 yards to go. The ball at the Packer 42.
Gary, your defensive back almost has to give that play unless he has a good opportunity to intercept because he's driven backwards. He's got to protect against the fly pattern, the touchdown play, and he gives him about 5 yards, and then when the intended receiver turns around, then he comes up and makes the stop.
At the 42-yard line, 3rd down, a long 3 yards to go. Quazzo backpedals at the 50-yard line to throw up the middle. Incomplete. Osborne, the intended receiver. Carr and Robinson defending for the Packers. As Osborne really went up in the air and you had to wait for a moment, it looked like he might get to the ball, but did not. And now Fred Cox is coming in. Boy, what a field goal attempt this is going to be. As from the 42, he'll be kicking a close to 47, 48-yarder. He'll be kicking into what wind there is with 6:57. It's going to be closer to a 50-yarder. They're going to try a 48-yarder. He had a 47-yarder a week ago. Paul Krause to hold with 6:57. On a 4th down 4, the ball's down, the kick's up, it's partially blocked. It's going to make it into the end zone for the touchback. So the Packers have held, and the ball comes out to the 20-yard line. And with 6:52 remaining in the third quarter, there's timeout with the score. The Packers 6, the Vikings 0. This is the Green Bay Packers Football Network.
You know, probably the only time you think about motor oil is when your Enco retailer shows you the dipstick and then tells you that you're a quart low. Yet that easily forgotten motor oil is being asked to do a tremendously efficient job of protecting your engine. Now, it's got to flow easily and freely, even when it's ice cold. It's got to be tough and full-bodied, even after it's heated to a sizzling 450 degrees. And it's got to keep doing this for thousands and thousands of miles. No wonder some motor oils just can't keep up this full-time protection from oil change to oil change. But Uniflow can. Humble's Uniflow motor oil won't lose a drop of protective power over 6,000 miles of typical driving. It's the perfect motor oil for people who forget to change motor oil. Uniflow, only at your Enco retailers. I'd like to say hello along the line to some of our stations on the Green Bay Packer Network. In Ladysmith, WLDY. In Madison, it is WKOW and WIBA.
At the 20-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Packers as they hold. A field goal attempt short by Fred Cox. Give up the middle. To keep this field position. They have not had any field position thus far in the second half. Gary Larson and Alan Page make the stop. A pickup of 1. 2nd down 9 from the 21-yard line. 6.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. 6-0. And a very precarious lead for the Packers. The far side, Dale, along with Clancy. Travis Williams and Donnie Anderson, the running backs. Bart Starr, 2nd down 9 call. Play action fake, back to throw, near side. It's caught by John Hilton across the 25. He fights his way for the 1st and 10 across the 30 to the 31-yard line. John Hilton with great second effort made the 1st and 10. Ed Sherrockman making the stop.
Well, that's another excellent play-action fake on the part of Bart Starr. He's just hiding the ball beautifully. Hilton, there was no subterfuge on his part. He made an inside fake, came to the outside, and they threw it to him quickly. And then John is a big man who likes to play football, and he likes to play football, by the way, with the Green Bay Packers. He enjoys it here very much, and he put that second effort on and got the first down, a big one for Green Bay.
And gives the Packers a chance to move the ball and get some field position. At the 31-yard line, 1st and 10 with 5:33 to go in the third quarter. 6-0, the Packers lead. Starr back to throw. Pressure put on up the middle. Caught by Dale to 45. What a catch. Carroll Dale made some kind of catch at the 46-yard line. It's another 1st and 10. Bobby Bryant was over there, but he had no chance to make a defensive play. It was just a great catch by quite a pro. Dale has just been magnificent the last 2 weeks.
Well, I can't tell you what kind of a gutsy performance is being put on here by Bart Starr. That's the kind of pass that it hurts to throw when you've got sore ribs. But he didn't hesitate, and he really fired it again.
It appears as though Dale may have hurt his back a little bit on that stretching catch, and John Phillips has come in to replace him at this particular stage. There's a fumble snap. They give it off to Anderson. He's in trouble, and he's thrown for a loss back at the 37. Let's recap that one. Starr tried to pitch to Anderson, and he fumbled the ball. He picked it up, and then on a second effort, pitched to Anderson, and he was dropped clear back at the 37.
There are a few boos being heard here in the audience right now, and the reason is simply this. Bart Starr fell down on the ball to get on top of it. All Carl Eller had to do was tap him. But already Bart had gotten rid of the ball, but instead Eller really hit Starr from behind, and he got up slowly, rubbing his back a little bit. Not so much his ribs, but Eller really hit him. Of course, that's the job of the defensive man, and he hit him hard enough to put anybody out of a ball game, but Bart's still there.
I think he's hurting a little bit, too, as he comes limping up a little bit to the line. At the 37-yard line, 2nd down, 19 call for the Packers. There's a give to Anderson up the middle. He fumbles the ball. It's loose, and I believe the Vikings have picked it up. The ball's loose again, and what a scramble going on, but I believe they're going to rule a fumble recovery for the Vikings. I think Alan Page picked it up and then tried to advance it. They're going to rule a fumble recovery for Page. And all of a sudden, mechanically, the Packers have some breakdowns.
That is the second mistake of the afternoon on the part of the Green Bay Packers. The first one might have cost them a touchdown, and we'll see what this one cost them here. This is the best penetration by Minnesota of the afternoon.
So on the fumble by Anderson, Page picks it up, and at the 33-yard line, the Vikings have it. A major break at this juncture of the football game. I give to Bill Brown, and he goes short of the 30-yard line. Hitting off the left-hand side, a hard-nosed fullback is able to advance the ball. They mark it at the 31. Ray Nitschke made the stop and pick up a 3. 2nd down, 7. In this type of game, it can be decided so easily by a break. And right now, the Vikings trying to capitalize on one. Graham split to the far side for the Vikings, and near side, Washington. At the 31, 2nd down, 7 call, 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. 6-0, the Packers. Bozzo rolling the far side to throw. Pass complete to Brown at the 25. He's knocked down at the 24. Dave Robinson defending, dropped him, as now Quazzo throwing very effectively to his backs coming out of the backfield. It's going to be close to a 1st and 10, and they're going to have to measure to see if he got it. Quazzo, throwing the shortstop most of the afternoon, has not really cranked up. He did on one occasion. It was picked off by Willie Wood.
Packers had a good rush that time. They broke through on the left side of the line, but the play action was to the defensive right side of the play, and the defensive back, not the defensive back, rather the backfield man, Bill Brown, came out of the backfield, and there was a quick talk to him. He had the easy catch, but you don't get away from Dave Robinson. Robinson had him and threw him. He is short of the first down by only a yard. Now Minnesota trailing by 6 points at 6-0. Needs to get a first down right here. They want to go for the touchdown. That's what it takes for them to get ahead. But it is still early in the ball game. Third quarter with about 2:42 left. There's a lot of time yet to be played.
And on this short yardage situation, the Vikings bring in 2 tight ends, Beasley and Kramer. 3rd down, inches. Quazzo takes a snap, gives to Osborne. He slants off the left-hand side, and it appears he made it. There was not much running room, but he did advance the ball sufficiently to pick up the 1st and 10. That's one of those situations that just can hardly stop the guy. If he falls forward at all, he's got a 1st and 10. Nitschke was one of the people in on the stop, but primarily the entire front wall. So it's a 1st and 10. The ball at the 23-yard line. 2:04 to go here in the third quarter. Bob Grimm comes to the near side. Washington to the far side. Clazo with the best offensive drive of the football game for the Vikings. He gives off to Osborne, swinging the near side. He bends it back across the 20. The ball fumbles. And it's recovered by the Packers. There is a flag, however, but the Packers picked it up as Osborne looked like he tried to bend across the grain, and all of a sudden the ball was loose. And at the 20-yard line, the Packers have it. Dave Robinson picked it up for the Packers. The penalty against the Vikings, and of course refused.
Things even out, I suppose, in the long run. The Packers gave the Vikings that opportunity with a fumble of their own, and now they have taken the football back, so the game remains even. But the Packers still have that lead of 6-0, and it was in a precarious position and still is, for that matter.
Phillips stays in the football game. He and Clancy split to the near side. 1st and 10 called from the 20-yard line. 1:50 remaining in the third quarter. 6-0. The Packers lead the Vikings. Again, Harry Williams is in, and Williams goes for 2 yards to the 22-yard line. Harry Williams in for the first time, and the Purdue second-year man advances the ball for 2. 2nd down 8.
Gary, one of the things you have not seen from the Green Bay Packers this entire afternoon is any fly pattern run by any receiver. Bart may be building up to one of those kind of plays very soon if he feels he has enough time to throw the football and can throw it that far.
2nd down 8. 1:23 remaining here in the third quarter. Phillips, Clancy comes split to the near side of the field. What a defensive struggle this has been thus far. Starr now taking a lot of time. He may be audibleizing there at the line, and jumping off is Jim Marshall. Let's see what this is going to develop into. Looked like Starr was calling audible. And firing off was Jim Marshall, and the penalty is going to go against the Packers as they back up, anticipating an illegal procedure call. And now Dave Hampton comes into the Packer offensive backfield. Donnie Anderson will lead. Illegal procedure, 5 yards, stepped off against the back.
Bill Hayhoe is the man who moved in the line. We also had a backfield man who made the move. The reason for taking Anderson out is to give him a little rest and an opportunity to rest up in case we have to punt. And the Packers would like to punt with what wind there is at their back, and they want to be rested for that.
It's 2nd down 12. The ball at the 18-yard line. The Packers need to get some field position. There's a give up the middle to Dave Hampton, and he goes little or nowhere. More or less a draw as Starr went racing back, handed off to Hampton, and Hampton hit at the line of scrimmage by Alan Page and the middle linebacker Lonnie Warwick. Bring up 3rd down, still 12 yards to go. And now, do you take a chance to put the ball into the air deep in your own territory, or try to pick up the 12 yards on the ground?
Was that a question?
I'm not a coach, thank heavens, and I think that's the reason we're up here behind the microphone, as at the 18-yard line, a big play coming up for the Packers. 33 seconds to go in the third quarter. Harry Williams, Dave Hampton, the running back. There's a give to Dave Hampton, running the far side. He's up to the 20-yard line and dropped. A fine tackle made up the field by Winston, who tripped him up. Then Hampton was able to fall forward to the 20, where it brings up 4th down, and still 10 yards to go. And Anderson will have a pressure kick coming up.
And he had a couple of plays on the sideline to get his breath and see what he can do with it. Donnie has been a fine punter this year, and let's see what happens.
The time has run out. The ball is snapped, so they will not get a chance to kick before the change of quarters. He's going to lose the wind advantage. So after 3 quarters, the score: the Packers 6, the Vikings 0. This is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.
Thinking of selling out your business or farm? But you're worried about all the detail and making it a successful sale? Well, just call in Thorpe's auction experts and relax.
And at the 44-yard line, the Vikings in their own territory take over as we start the fourth quarter. 6-0. The Packers lead it. A 36-yard kick by Donnie Anderson, who just before the end of the first half had a 59-yarder. Washington split to the near side. Far side, Bob Grimm. Clazo has his team at his own 44-yard line. Play action fake, rolling the near side. He's throwing up the middle. Down there all by himself is Brown, incomplete. Doug Hart got back there and got a hand up, and possibly that's all that saved it.
The ball was just slightly overthrown. Bill Brown was open momentarily. They didn't get the ball to him nearly quickly enough, and Doug Hart was able to recover. He was not able to touch the ball, but had the ball been thrown where Brown might have caught it, Hart might also have had a chance to either intercept or knock it down. But it was pretty well executed, and the coaches next door, including Jerry Burns, felt they might have a touchdown on the play.
They obviously called that play from up here, and they said he was open, and he was. Ball a little overthrown, but Hart also back there with a hand up. Second down, 10 from the 44-yard line. 14:24 to go in the fourth quarter. Back to throw, Quazzo has protection. Whoops, throws complete to Graham at the 45, the 40, 35. He's the 30. He's down to the Packer 25, and he's knocked down. Bob Jeter and Willie Wood, along with Doug Hart, all converging on Graham, as Graham was wide open on that play. He made a turn to the near sideline. I don't think he could believe how much running room he had. It's 1st and 10 now at the Packer 26-yard line. As all of a sudden, Quazzo starting to throw some longer passes after earlier going to his short game. At the 26, 1st and 10 for the Vikings. 14-13 remaining. 6-0, Green Bay, but in real precarious situation now of losing that lead. But to the far side, Grimm, the near side, Gene Washington. At the 26, Quazzo gives up the middle to Osborne, chips across the 20-yard line before he's dropped. Rainitsky dropped him as Osborne found some running room and advances the ball just inside the 20. Going to bring up 2nd down, still 4 yards to go. A pickup of 6 on the last play. At that time, the Packers, anticipating the possible pass, got a move up the middle instead by Osborne. The crowd now trying to fire up the Packer defense. Back to throw, Quazzo has time. Far side overthrown. He just threw that one away. Intended for Bob Grimm. Has everybody covered. Grimm the intended receiver, and Ken Ellis standing over there with him. 9 for 22 now. Quazzo in the passing department, good for 90 yards.
The 11th third down play of the game coming from Minnesota. Gary, they have converted 2 of 10 prior to this.
A change in the backfield for the Vikings. Bill Brown replaces Oscar Reed. Possibly with the information from the far sideline. At the 20-yard line, here's a 3rd down, 4 call. They don't get it here, they may go for the field goal. Quazzo, play action fake, back to throw, has protection, swings one to Osborne, the 20-yard line, he sidesteps the tackler, he's down close to the 1st and 10. At the 16-yard line, he's dropped. Osborne made a move on the far side on Dave Robinson that got him to the 1st and 10 territory. Whether he made it or not, we'll have to see.
No.
Ken Ellis made the stop, and Jim, you're saying no. Let's hope that's right.
Well, the reason I said that, one official was so sure of it, he started to bring the ball back toward the middle of the field. Then the official on the far sideline over here says, no, let's wait a minute. Now they take a look, and they say he is a yard short. So it is 4th down and a yard to go for the Minnesota Vikings, and they are going to go. They hesitated for a long time before they decided to go for the field goal. Not a bad move on their part at all. Not a bad move. You have to remember that they are leading the division, and a loss would be much worse for them than any possible tie, and they may think of in the terms of 2 field goals before the game ends, or 3.
This will be a 24-yard attempt by Cox, and he does this very easily. Paul Krause to hold. The ball's down. The kick's up, end over end, and the kick is good. With 13 minutes left to go, the score, the Packers 6, the Vikings 3. This is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.
Before you drive to one of the games next weekend, take a good look at your tires. A really good look. Remember, you've been driving your car a lot of miles this past summer. Maybe you took several out-of-town trips. In any case, now is a good time for a thorough tire check. If you notice signs of uneven wear in the front tires, if the tread is worn more on one tire than on the other, you probably need a front-end alignment, and the tires should be rotated. If the wear is excessive, don't take any chances. See an Enco retailer for a new set. Now, he carries the top quality line of Atlas tires, and he's ready to talk attractive prices and terms. So before your next football trip, check your tires. Check them carefully, and if necessary, see your Enco retailer. It's the safest thing to do. And so the Minnesota Vikings have cut the Green Bay Packer lead in half. It is 6-3. A long time remaining in the ball game. 13 minutes exactly.
A long time, particularly if the Packers don't get something going offensively. Fred Cox, at the 24-yard field goal, runs up on the football. Here she goes, end over end. Dave Hampton waits patiently at the goal line. He's up now to the 10, 15, 20. He fights his way up to 25. He breaks the 30, the 35, the 40, the 50, the 40. He's got to go all the way. 10-yard line, touchdown. How about that? A 100-yard return, and Forrest Gregg just threw his helmet clear up in the air.
And the wedge opened up the hole for Dave Hampton. He was almost tripped up, Gary, at the 20-yard line. Somebody reached in, tripped him, broke his stride, and the greatest sight in the world was to see Bill Hayhoe back at the 20-yard line, jumping up and down, yelling, "Go, go, go!" Hayhoe was tall enough to see over the top of him.
I'll tell you, Forrest Gregg threw his helmet 30 yards in the air. Point after attempt coming up, and that's what the Packers needed. Oh, what a football game this has been. The point after, the ball's on the way. It's good. And with 12:43 to go here in the fourth quarter, the Packers have taken the lead in this football game. We'll be back with more. But right now, this is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.
I want to feel free. I want to gaze into the sky and tell everybody what a lucky guy am I. Cause nothing will be. Folks makes it happen today.
Now you can borrow big from Thorpe, or you can borrow small, like just some cash to tide you over till payday. Thorpe will lend you all you need on payday-tailored terms, too.
Thorpe makes it happen today.
There are over 125 Thorpe offices throughout the Midwest, nearby and ready to serve you. Just look in the yellow pages under loans for Thorpe Finance. Still a lot of time left in this football game here at Milwaukee County Stadium, but the Packers in a little better position at the moment. Thank you to Dave Hampton, who ran that kickoff 100 yards. And we were just talking, Minnesota's coverage was to the outside. And the wedge, the four men who stand at about the 20-yard line for the Green Bay Packers were standing there with no one to block until all of a sudden they started to converge, and they blocked them out, and Dave Hampton had a clear path up the middle.
13-3, Livingston to kick off. Jones, along with Grim deep, standing at the 3-yard line. The run-up and the kick. High, end-over-end kick. Jones comes up at the 8-yard line. 10, 20, he's at 25, the 30, and boy, is he hit by Ken Ellis. Ellis doubled him up as he came across the 30-yard line to the 33. And now with a 13-3 lead, the Packers hoping to hold defensively.
Gary, officially, they have now credited Dave Hampton with 101 yards on the return.
Boy, beautiful thing to see. And that's the reason capacity crowd after capacity crowd comes out to see the Packers play. The ball at the 33-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Vikings. 12:15 remaining in the game. Quanzo back to throw. Throwing the far side. Incomplete, intended for Dave Osborne. Brett Carr defending for the Packers.
This, of course, changes your defensive strategy as far as the Green Bay Packers are concerned. They put Kevin Hardy into the ballgame. They want a good rush. McCoy is coming out. You know now that Minnesota has to put the ball in the air more than they have up to this point in the ballgame because they're 10 points behind with 12 minutes to play. They need a quick touchdown to get right back in the ballgame.
2nd down, 10 from the 33-yard line. This game not over yet. There's a lot of time remaining. 12 minutes, 10 seconds to be exact. Grimm to the near side, Washington to the far side. Quazzo with his two set running backs behind him of Brown and Osborne. Back to throw. Looking straight up the middle. He's going for the bomb. Down there's Washington, and he can't get it. He dropped it. Washington had it at the 25-yard line with Ellis trying to get to it.
It is here 5 o'clock here in Milwaukee County Stadium. Let's pause for station identification. This is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.
WNFL, Green Bay.
12 minutes, 4 seconds remaining. A 3rd down for Minnesota. They've converted 2 of 11.
I don't need to tell you, had that been caught, Minnesota had been right back in this game in a hurry. And at the 33-yard line, it's now 3rd down 10 on a near miss. Ellis stride for stride with Gene Washington. Croswell back to throw again. He's thrown for a rush. He's hit back at the 23-yard line. Bob Brown's the guy that did it. And Rich Moore is beating him on the back. He's so happy about it. Also, Kevin Hardy was in on that rush. So the Packers hold. The ball marked at the 25-yard line. And the Vikings will have to get rid of the football as Wood and Williams, Travis Williams, go back to the Packer 35. McNeil will kick it from the 12-yard line. That's the 5th time that they've sacked Gary Quazzo. 11:47, the snap's there. Here's the boot. A beautiful kick. Willie Wood back for the fair catch and makes it at the 32-yard line. So the Packers, with a 13-3 lead, have possession at their own 33-yard line after a 43-yard kick by Tom McNeil. And timeout on the field with 11:39 remaining. The score, the Packers 13, the Vikings 3. This is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.
All right, Jack and Dick. Got your thinking caps on?
You bet, Biggie.
All right, America, let's play What's the Word?
For all you folks at home, the word is Good Old Black is best. Why, you can taste the reason. All the flavor, all the real beer greatness that made Good Old Black's Milwaukee's finest beer for over 100 years. And the Black's people put that same great beer in bottles, cans, and kegs. So actually, the 3 best beers in America is Black's. And now, back to our contestants.
Time is up. Oh, okay, fellas. What's the word?
Good old Black is best.
He's got the word! Congratulations!
I don't know how from the what. Thanks for that.
I was trying to get a prize.
Black's Brewing Company, division of G. Heileman Brewing Company. The Packers, with the ball at their own 32-yard line, they would like to run some time off the clock. There's 11:39 remaining in the 4th quarter. 1st and 10, Perry Williams and Donnie Anderson, the running backs, behind Bart Starr. Starr gives to Anderson. He's got a convoy of blockers, 35. He's knocked out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Bill Luke led the way along with Gail Gillingham, and they had the whole student body ahead of Donnie Anderson as he rolls to the near side to the 38-yard line. A pickup of 6 yards. It'll be 2nd down 4.
The Green Bay student body, right? I was trying to figure out where that was exactly.
Okay. You have to be a little conservative at this stage, but on that particular occasion, they were able to get 6 yards by being so, as they really had the convoy of blockers ahead of him. The Packers need to get the ball moving, kill some time with 11:33 remaining. They lead 13-3. To the far side, Dale is split out. The tight end is Hilton. Perry Williams, Donnie Anderson, the running backs. Back to throw, Starr pumps once. Can't find anybody open. Still looking. Throws up the middle. Caught by Hilton at the 40-yard line and shoved back. Boy, what protection for Bart Starr. He pumped at least 3 times and eventually completed it to Hilton at the 41.
Here he had a sideline pattern call, but there was too much protection over there for the Minnesota Vikings, and so Bart wanted to ground the football. He didn't want to throw it near anyone, and he had plenty of time to look around. He seriously thought about just throwing it away, I'm sure. But then when he found Hilton open, he threw it to him. So here's a 3rd down play and a key one with short yardage.
Starr completed half his passes now, 7 for 14. Yardage, 61 yards. At the 41-yard line, 3rd down, a yard to go. Hilton made a tough catch. He play action fake, far side, Anderson, 45. He goes to the 40. He's knocked out of bounds at the 38-yard line. However, there's a flag back at the 40-yard line. Well, on a 3rd and 1, Bart Starr, who's known for that play, fakes the play action, tossed on the far side to Donnie Anderson, but it'll go for naught. The flag was thrown. Had that play come off, that might have put some breathing room in this football game for the Packers. But instead, the penalty moves it back to 25. Holding is the call. A 15-yarder.
Now the Green Bay Packers, Gary, faced with a very difficult decision. They know that, at least Minnesota knows, that the Packers, in order to get 1st down yardage, they're going to have to throw the football. And they're going to come pouring in on you. So Bart may take the conservative route here again, take 4 or 5 yards on a run, and then hope that the Packer defense can hold on.
Dale Hackbart comes in on this apparent passing situation defensively, replacing Hildenberg. And coming to the near side, Carroll Dale, Jack Clancy. third down, 18 call from the Packer 25-yard line. Starr gives off to Anderson, running the far side, 25, 30, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Schurakman making the stop. That obviously was a prevent defense by the Vikings. They gave him the 5 or 6 yards, and now the Packers will have to get rid of the football. Just across their own 30-yard line, the clock stops as Anderson knocked out of bounds with 10:38 remaining. 13-3, the Packers lead.
The Packers had the ball only 59 seconds, Gary, in that series. One of the reasons, or two of the reasons, the Packers ran out of bounds on 2 of the plays, and on the third there was a penalty.
Jones and West deep at the 30-yard line. To kick the ball from the 15 will be Donnie Anderson. Bowman to snap the ball. The snap, a big rush, end over end kick. The ball hits and goes between the two defenders, goes all the way back to the 15-yard line, and it's down. Well, you talk about getting a bounce. The Packers definitely got that. And back to the 16-yard line, Anderson will be awarded a 53-yard boost, as they just couldn't feel it. And time is called with 10:29. The score, the Packers 13, the Vikings 3. This is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.
Practically everybody has to borrow money or use financing services sometime. And your own financial needs are almost as individual as your fingerprints. That's why Thorpe Finance says, we'll lend you all the money you need, up to $5,000 or more, for any reason. And that reason could be to pay off all your bills and end family arguments over money, to make home improvements, buy or finance new appliances, color TV or furniture, take a good vacation trip, or buy recreation equipment, meet unexpected medical or dental expenses, maybe just handle an emergency cash shortage till payday. Anyway, you know why you need the money, and Thorpe will lend it to you, promptly. Thorpe also arranges individual loan terms. You set them up to fit your ability to pay. So look in your yellow pages and find which of Thorpe's more than 125 Midwest offices is nearby to serve you.
The Green Bay Packers unable to use up much of that clock on that last series of downs. Twice they ran out of bounds. One time on a penalty stopped the clock, and now they'll have to hold offensively.
At the 16-yard line, Kevin Hardy's in defensively, replacing Rich Moore at left defensive tackle. Back to throw Quazzo. He's setting up a screen. It's complete to Oscar Reed at the 15. He goes for a yard gain to the 17-yard line. Dave Robinson read the screen perfectly, and that's where the old savvy pays off. As Quazzo trying to set it up, went clear back to his own 7-yard line. A pickup of 1 on the play. Second down, 9. As the Vikings trying to pick up a big play now with 10 minutes, 2 seconds left to be played in the game. They trail 13-3. But to the near side, Bobby Grimm, the far side, Gene Washington. As the Packer faithful wanting that clock to tick faster. Back to throw Quazzo. Far side, he throws as he's hit, incomplete. And Mike McCoy really unloaded on Gary Quazzo.
Gary, this, of course, is the difference in the ballgame. The Packers, knowing the Minnesota Vikings have to throw, can really come pouring in, and that's exactly what they did on that time. The play before, the screen pass to Oscar Reed, and Dave Robinson made the stop, but realized that Dave Robinson had to come from the far side of the field to this near side of the field to make the stop, and that's the kind of reaction that he gave on the play. It'll bring up third down, 9 from the 17-yard line. Mike McCoy really unloaded that time on Gary Quazzo. He threw it and was actually lucky to get rid of the ball. And Kevin Hardy was coming right behind McCoy on that particular play. Quazzo back on third down, 9. A rush again, a pass deflected, incomplete. And now pass interference is going to be called on Ken Ellis. The ball was not going to get there. Ellis then came up and bumped Washington behind after the play actually apparently had been resolved. But they say that he interfered, and it will be an automatic 1st and 10, and that's a tough break. It was a very good call by the official. Ken just hit him as he tried to come forward to catch that football. Ken was making a move towards the football also, but he ran directly into the receiver's hand. He would have had no chance whatever to catch it.
1st and 10 from the 27, getting the Vikings off a hook, and then Oscar Reed is thrown for a loss. Mike McCoy really establishing himself now. Drops him for a loss back to the 26. A loss of 1. Second down, 11.
Gary, what's happening with the Green Bay Packer linebackers? Dave Robinson is lining up to take the fullback coming out of the backfield, and Fred Carr is picking up the halfback, which is usually Osborne. And then Dave Robinson will pick up either Bill Brown or Oscar Reed, whichever is the fullback on the pass pattern.
Second down, 11 from the 26. 9:13 remaining in the game. The Packers 13, the Vikings 3. Quazzo back to throw again. Throws up the middle, caught by Washington across the 45. He's up to the 48-yard line. Gene Washington, the big play man for them, made the catch. Bob Jeter, Willie Wood combined to make the stop. But it's another Packer 1st and 10 as the Vikings now tenaciously hanging on to that football.
Osborne and Fred Carr got into it. Jeter's going to have to go out with an ankle injury, and he's replaced by Al Matthews, which is a tough break because Bobby's played very well today. And Osborne's getting a little upset with Carr shadowing him on every play.
At the 48-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Vikings. Moving from right to left. Quazzo back to throw again. A rush put on. He's going to be thrown for a loss. Back to the 39-yard line. Bob Brown was the first to get there. An assist from Kevin Hardy and Mike McCoy. As a defensive forward wall, helping out the defensive secondary as Quazzo was looking long to throw to Gene Washington. And with 8:27, it brings up 2nd down, 18 yards to go. The ball at the Viking 40-yard line, and Washington now leads the football game. Washington runs over to possibly catch a breath before they bring him back in. As Grimm comes to near side, Henderson has replaced Washington. He's split to the far side. John Henderson. At the 40, 2nd down, 18 call. Quazzo backpedals to throw at the 30. He's going for the bomb. Grimm is down there, incomplete, as he had beaten Al Matthews, but it was thrown just a little long. I don't believe Matthews knew the ball was in the air.
Matthews was more intent on staying stride for stride with Bob Grimm, and that's what he was able to do on the play. But Quazzo, Grimm ran the pattern against Al Matthews on only the 2nd play. There was a flag, however, down on the field. Only the 2nd play that Matthews had been in the ball game, and they immediately threw in his direction.
And last week they tried that, Atlanta. You recall when Doug Hart got hurt, Al Matthews came in, and they picked on him right away. A penalty against the Vikings, moving the ball to the 19-yard line, holding. So now the Vikings have a long yardage situation coming up. 2nd down, long yardage to go. They need to get to the 41-yard line of Green Bay in order to pick up a 1st and 10. And Jeter now has come back in defensively. And also Gene Washington has come in for the Vikings. Split to the far side, the near side, Henderson. 2nd and 39 yards to go. Back to throw Quazzo. Looking far side, complete to Jones at the 24, and as he hit, Fred Carr just about undressed him on the far side as he spun Jones around.
Fred Carr is just taking the halfback for the Minnesota Vikings and following him wherever he goes. That's his assignment right at the moment. Osborne got a little tired of it, so they took him out of the ballgame. Now they put Clint Jones in to try the same thing. And Fred was going to let him catch the football because it was long yardage, and it's still long yardage. They'll let him catch the football again and then make the tackle.
A wide-open football game right now. 3rd down, still 34 yards to go. Quazzo back to throw again. Has protection. Throwing the far side. It's complete on the far sideline. Oscar Reed across the 35, the 40 to the 41, but they're still a long ways from a 1st and 10. Ken Ellis, Fred Carr combined for the stop, and 4th down comes up for the Vikings with 7 minutes, 2 seconds left to go in the game. Wood and Williams go back for the anticipated kick. The ball at the Viking 41.
Gary, Minnesota took about 3.5 minutes with the clock on their time with it at that time.
6:50 now remaining. McNeil stands at the 26 to kick it. At the 20, the Packer twin safety. A beautiful kick. Travis Williams going back. He's going to let it hit. And it is not going to make it in. It comes back outside the 5-yard line to the 6. So Travis Williams, hoping that ball would take a Packer bounce into the end zone, did not. And the ball instead ends up in the vicinity of the 7-yard line.
Well, we hope you enjoy playing it by ear. Packer football brought to you by Black's Beer. 6 minutes, 32 seconds remaining, and the clock is running. The Packers deep in their own territory, but with a 10-point lead. And you can imagine here that they're going to be very conservative, try not to make an error. They can use up at least 2 minutes on that clock just by running plays alone. And they're huddling long in the end zone before they break that huddle to come out.
I guess the Packers can't complain about that bounce. They had one earlier go their way on a punt. At the 7-yard line, Packer territory, Bart Starr has the football. Ken Bowman snaps it. Gives off to Perry Williams. Williams is able to come out to the 10-yard line. Just across it. As that forward wall doing quite a job offensively. Gary Larson credited with a tackle. They'll mark the ball just across the 10-yard line. We're to bring up second down and still a long 5 yards to go. Williams and Hampton. Perry Williams and Dave Hampton, the running backs for the Packers. 5 minutes, 36 seconds left to go. Make it second down 6. The ball just across the Packer 10-yard line. But to the far side, Dale and Clancy. Bart Starr, who's got all the way at quarterback, gives off to Perry Williams. He hits up for maybe a yard or two to the 13-yard line. Lonnie Warwick made the stop, and the clock continues to tick with 5:17. Bringing up third down, still 4 yards to go. The Packers having to be conservative, hoping to get the 1st and 10 and kill some time. We're coming up on the 5-minute mark now, 5:02 to be exact. As the Vikings impatiently waiting to get the football back. The Packers break huddle at the 4:54 mark. Dale, Clancy, split to the far side. In the I formation, they shift the backs of Hampton and Perry Williams. Starr, the long count, eating up some of that time. Takes the snap, gives to Perry Williams, trying to swing the near side. He goes nowhere as he drops at the 13-yard line. Roy Winston and Bobby Bryant defending. Looks like Williams is shaken up. Williams is limping as he's going to go off in the end zone area. The clock running with 4:25. It's 4th down, still 4 yards to go. The Packers will have to kick it.
Perry Williams must get off on the side of the field where the teams are, and on his own effort and hurting very much, he is limped off to the sideline, and that does not stop the clock. That's what the Packers didn't want to have happen.
Williams has to go now the length of the field to get to the Packer bench, and he's gamely doing it. Now it looks like Dominic Gentile is over there helping him out. As he's in real pain. Great courage that time getting off, as now Anderson will kick from the end zone on 4th and 4. The snap is perfect. The boot. A high, wobbly kick, a little bit off the side of his foot. It's taking about the 40. It's hit by the Vikings, but I believe they recovered it at the 46-yard line. A Viking lineman hit the football, and it was loose for a moment, and he was able to come up with it, the 45. That was Paul Dixon.
You know, a halfback's best friend is the lineman who springs him loose with a good block. And you've got a good friend to help you shake off money problems, your local Thorpe office manager.
Has a 32-yard kick. Now the Vikings in Packer territory at the 45-yard line, 3:27 remaining. The Packers lead 13-3. Boswell rolling, wanting to throw. He throws under pressure. Incomplete. What a play by Willie Wood. Wood batted that ball away, intended for John Beasley. Oh, what a play by Wood.
Well, Willie Wood also took a gamble that time. He was going to try to make the interception and knock it away. Had he not knocked it down, it might have been a touchdown for Minnesota. But Willie did knock it down, and let's not talk about what might have happened. Let's talk about what did happen. He prevented the play from being completed. 3 minutes, 20 seconds to go. Remember, Minnesota has 3 timeouts remaining.
Credit a good pass rush to Lionel Aldridge on that last play. Second down, 10 from the 45-yard line. Quazzo back to throw again. Going to the near sideline, Washington drops the ball, and we're going to have 2 flags thrown. Washington pushed Bob Jeter down, and I believe it's going to be offensive pass interference. He just literally shoved Jeter down and then tried to get to the football. I don't believe I've seen a receiver get that violent, as he just ran over Jeter.
Well, Gene Washington made 2 errors. First of all, he knocked Jeter down, then he failed to catch the football. He knocked Jeter completely off his feet, and then just flubbed the football when it came to him. And that's important for the Packers, because that puts Minnesota back in its own territory, and I believe also cuts them down.
I don't think we can say enough for this defensive secondary, and I think it's obvious how good a job they're doing. The receivers of the Vikings are getting so frustrated. They can't seem to get open, as time and time again they've tried to, but cannot. And now it's going to bring up second down, 25 yards to go from the 40-yard line. The near side split out is Grimm. Back to throw Quazzo. Up the middle, it's caught and dropped immediately is Oscar Reed at the 45-yard line by Dave Robinson. Robinson just ran through him.
Oscar Reed had double coverage that time by Ray Nitschke and Dave Robinson. And I don't think I'd want to be double covered by either one of those people. But both of them were right there, and both of them hit him once he caught the football. Next week, we play the San Diego Chargers Monday night in San Diego.
Third down, 19 yards to go. They now have a three-man rush in. They put back 5 defensive backs. Back to throw Quazzo. He has time. Throwing the far side, Reed makes the catch and steps out of bounds in the vicinity of the 35. And it's a good thing he did. He had at least another 10 yards with nobody in his area. He's very unhappy that he stepped out. But the Packers aren't. As at the 35-yard line, it's close to a 1st and 10 and is a 1st and 10 for the Vikings. So with 2:32, the Vikings continue to battle back. The Packers hanging on to a 13-3 lead.
The Vikings can stop this clock 4 times now, remember, before the end of the ball game. The 2-minute warning will be coming up in 32 seconds, and they have 3 timeouts remaining, so this game is a long way from over.
The Packers now have their front 4 back in there on this play. Back to throw Quazzo. Has protection. Throwing up the middle. Caught by Grimm. Dropped immediately by Bob Jeter. Boy, Jeter's played some kind of a game. They're going to mark the ball on top of the 25-yard line. It's close to another 1st and 10. I don't know. As they look to the far sideline, they're not going to give it to him. It's going to be 2nd down, still about a half yard to go. Clock running, 2 minutes, 8 seconds left to go. Grimm split to the near side, Washington to the far side. Clock running, 2:02. The 2-minute warning will cut up. Quazzo to throw up the middle, caught by Grimm inside the 15. He's shoved back. And the 2-minute warning now with 1:56 will come in. Timeout on the field. The Packers 13, the Vikings 3. This is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.
Hey, they're playing our song. Well, the word is, good old Blacks is best. Sure. There's all the flavor, all the real beer greatness that made good old Blacks Milwaukee's finest beer for, well, over 100 years. And the Blacks people take the time and the trouble to put that same great beer in bottles, cans, and kegs. So no matter how you enjoy it, the 3 best beers in America is Blacks. And I know it's good old Blacks beer wherever you go. Kegs, cans, and bottles all taste the same. The 3 best is one beer, Blacks is the name. That's the word. That's the beer. Good old Blacks is best.
Platts Brewing Company, division of G. Heileman Brewing Company. Well, let us set the stage for you in this football game. The Minnesota Vikings on the Green Bay Packer 11-yard line. 1:56 seconds remaining to be played in the ball game. Green Bay leads 13-3. Minnesota with 3 timeouts remaining. If they score, they will go for the onside kick in all likelihood.
1st and 10 at the Packer 11-yard line. 1:56 left. Quazzo back to throw. Has protection. It's deflected up in the air by Kevin Hardy. Incomplete. Hardy got a hand up. And the guy they picked up from the 49ers has really done a good job today. Coming in a relief role. Batting the pass down. Incomplete. 2nd down, 10 from the 11-yard line. But that only took 5 seconds. 1:51. I've never seen 13 minutes go so slow, Jim.
It always goes slow when you're trying to get it to go fast. It would go rather quickly if you were behind.
At the 11-yard line, 2nd down, 10. 1:51 left to go in this game. The Packers 13, the Vikings 3. Quazzo has Grimm split to the near side. Play action fake, rolling the far side. He's throwing Washington, batted up. He caught it on the 2nd grab for the touchdown. What a play. It was batted up in the air by Ellis. And then Washington, with a 2nd shot at it, fell into the end zone with a touchdown. And you can see why Gene Washington is an all-pro.
Well, I think a lot of people are going to check the film on that one, Gary, later on today, because it from here appeared like it might have bounced off the ground, but the official was screened from it and would not know, but Gene Washington was sure that he caught it.
1:45 still left. 13-9 the score. The point after, the ball's down, the kick's up. It's good. And with 1:45, this game isn't over yet. The Packers now lead it 13-10. And Jim, the Packers need to get a 1st and 10 when they get the football.
Well, first of all, Gary, of course they're going to have to get the football. Minnesota will try, in all likelihood, an onside kick. The ball has to go 10 yards, remember. Then it becomes a free ball. Anytime it goes 10 yards on the kickoff. So they'll kick it from the 40. Once that ball passes midfield, the midfield line, the 50-yard line, then it is a free ball, and it will be up to the Green Bay Packers to fall on that ball. Now, across the way, they have Rich McGeorge, standing at the 45-yard line, along with Al Matthews. On this near side is John Hilton, Larry Krause, and directly in the middle is Cleo Walker. And then the second line, back about 7 yards from them, John Spillis. And we'll check some of the other players in. Johnny Anderson is also in the ball game. He's at the 40. Robinson and Spillis, along with Willie Wood. So we've got some people who can field the ball in the second line. Perhaps the most vulnerable spot would be right in the middle, where Cleo Walker, who is not used to handling that ball that much, and they may be going to make a change. Now Walker is moving over a little bit to the sideline, and he's got a fall on that ball. They're expecting the onside.
That last touchdown pass is the first that Quazzo has thrown in regular season play. It was a remarkable effort by Gene Washington. Cox to kick. Where, we don't know. With 1:45 left to go in the game. The run up, and he's kicking it off. He hits it. Dave Hampton to 5, 10, 15. He's up to the 20-yard line. He fights his way up to the 24. So the Vikings crossed up about the entire ballpark, kicking it off. And at the 24-yard line, the Packers have it.
One of the reasons, of course, is the fact that they have 3 timeouts remaining. What they will do is call a timeout after each Green Bay Packer play in order to hopefully give them the ball with about a minute left on the clock. Then they can work their sideline pattern trying to run out that clock. And it is with 1:26 and running right now.
Travis Williams now comes in offensively.
Let them go wide.
Williams and Hampton will be the running backs. The near side comes Clancy and Dale. 1:14, the clock running. 1st and 10 call from the 24-yard line. Starr taking every second that he can. Gives off to Williams, and the whistle's blow. I don't believe they got the playoff in time. Delay a game call apparently coming up against the Packers. Stopping the clock with 1:06. Well, I don't know how important the 5 yards will be, but it has stopped the clock, and the ball moves back to the 19-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 15.
To win this ball game, the Green Bay Packers may need to get a first down, Gary. They have a minute and 6 seconds to go, but the 3 timeouts will not take up much time on running plays. And so the Packers, if they could get a first down, in all likelihood would be able to win it.
At the 19-yard line, 1st and 15. The call for Green Bay, leading 13-10, and what a battle. Give to Dave Hampton. He comes up across the 20, up to the 24-yard line, and now time called by the Vikings. They're going to use one of their 3 timeouts, stopping the clock with 1 minute.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.
Green Bay.
$1 worth left on the clock. That's all there is. 1 minute. Minnesota with 2 timeouts remaining. And Dave Hampton on the play picked up the 5 yards they lost on the previous penalty. So it will be 2nd down, 10 yards to go. The ball is at the 24-yard line. Well, there are a lot of things to consider at this stage of a ball game. Minnesota undoubtedly will rush everybody if the Packers are forced to punt. You'll recall last week they blocked 2 punts against the New Orleans Saints, who today were winners over the New York Giants. New Orleans is a pretty good football team. So let's watch and see, and hold your breath here in the last 1 minute of the game.
2nd down, 10, as they're back to the original line of scrimmage after that delay of game call. From the 24-yard line, the Packers break huddle. Dale comes to the near side of the field along with Clancy. 13-10, the Packers lead, but right now they need a 1st and 10. The split backfield of Travis Williams and Dave Hampton. A give to Dave Hampton, swinging the far side of the field. He's up across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Gary Larson coming across to knock him down. An assist from Alan Page, and now the Vikings use their 2nd timeout. They stop the clock again. The ball will be marked at the 27-yard line. 3rd down, still 7 yards to go. 53 seconds. That play took only 7 seconds. The Packers, a 3rd and 7 call.
What are you going to call here? It's really some kind of a decision to make for the Green Bay Packers. They have 53 seconds to run off on the clock. They probably can use 5 or 6 seconds at the most on a running play. And then Minnesota will use that 3rd timeout. Then the Packers will kick it, and Minnesota will have to rush and hurry to get downfield if the Packers can get it away. But if we make a first down right here, Gary, the ball game would be over.
3rd and 7 at the 27-yard line. Dick Bradkowski and Dick Evans immediately to our right, biting their fingernails here on this 3rd down 7. Dale, Clancy split out. Starr's going to throw. Back to throw, near side. Dale, he got it at the 35-yard line. How about that? A 1st and 10, and a riverboat gambler, Bart Starr is.
Well, what a gamble that was. Had Dale not caught the ball, had it been an incomplete forward pass, they would not have had to use the timeout. It would have given them a little extra time. But now Minnesota with only one timeout left, and you watch the Green Bay Packers run it on the ground now. Nobody can fumble here.
Boy, I'll tell you, that's great courage on the part of Bart Starr and the Packers doing the job, picking up the 1st and 10 to the 35. How many times have Starr and Dale been on the receiving and passing end in that particular situation? Give now to Travis Williams. He comes up to the 40-yard line. Almost to the 41. The clock running now with 40 seconds. And the Vikings will use their last timeout, I believe. Let's see. Wait a minute. Williams has been hurt. Williams at the 40-yard line. The Vikings have called timeout. Williams is shaken up at the 40.
Well, had not the Minnesota Vikings called timeout on that play, the Green Bay Packers would have themselves been forced to call timeout because Travis not able to get off the field on his own power. And now Dr. Brusky and Dominic Gentili have come out to talk with him. Minnesota definitely called the timeout, and the Packers will take advantage of it. And Travis is resting on one knee. I think he just simply lost his breath, and he started to get up. Can't quite get up now. And Gentili and the doctor, Dr. Eugene Brusky, keep him on the ground there to give him time. He's got plenty of time.
Going back to that play, Carroll Dale the last 2 weeks has just been fantastic. Last week catching 186 yards and receiving on only 4 catches. And here today, doing a remarkable job once again. As Dale, in the receiving department, has caught 3 passes for 33 yards. It seems like every one of them have been key catches. Williams receiving a very well-deserved round of applause as he's helped off the field on the far side. I bet the Vikings are a little unhappy they used that timeout. As things not going well here, the Packers able to keep the football, and the Vikings very frustrated. At the 40-yard line, 2nd down, 40 seconds left to go. And the Vikings almost jump offside, and Tim Marshall tapped Bill Hayhoe in the head. He wanted an illegal procedure call. Is he going to get it?
Hayhoe moved his shoulders after Minnesota almost jumped over. Then they got back. Hayhoe moved his shoulders and made the move, and then very wisely, Minnesota reached over and tapped him. They could have, if they wanted to, really have creamed him. And I think at this stage they might have liked to, but very politely they tapped him on the shoulders. The Packers don't mind that 5 yards so much.
Marshall helping the officials out on that particular situation. Still 40 seconds. Now 2nd down and 10. The ball on top of the Packer 35-yard line. Interesting, Carroll Dale's actually standing in the backfield on this play, and Bart Starr sneaks it forward. He comes up short of the 40-yard line, and every time he carries the ball, you hold your breath that he's able to fire straight ahead, short of the 40-yard line. The clock running with 26. Well, the Packers apparently going to not even have to run another play with 16 seconds.
That hand is for the guts of Bart Starr. He wants to win this football game with 10 seconds. They're standing and applauding.
A standing ovation for the Packers with 6 seconds. Bart Starr's not even going to call the play. 3, 2, 1. The Packers have won it. What a victory here this afternoon in County Stadium. The Packers have picked up a 13-10 win over the Minnesota Vikings. We'll be back to recap the action in 1 minute.
I wanna feel free. I wanna dig into the sky and tell everybody what a lucky guy am I. Come, nothing will be. Thought makes it happen today.
When the TV announcer says, "And now in living color," do you sit back to enjoy or just wish? Wishes come true at Thorpe, where you can borrow all the money you need.
Thorpe makes it happen today.
There are over 125 Thorpe offices throughout the Midwest, nearby and ready to serve you. Just look in the yellow pages under loans for Thorpe Finance. I am sure this is a very satisfying moment for Coach Bill Bingston of the Green Bay Packers. As he walked off the field, the fans on this near side of County Stadium were standing and giving him a great round of applause. His first victory ever over the Minnesota Vikings as a head coach. And what this means, Gary, is the Green Bay Packers are right back in the race for the Central Division. They're still going to trail the leaders by 1 game, but we could have trailed by 2, and certainly we now are a contender again.
Well, Jim, remember 2 weeks ago, it was a long afternoon against the Lions, 40-0. But the Packers have gotten up off the floor last week, winning a very tough game over Atlanta, then coming back to capture their second straight and end a 4-game winning streak the Vikings had over the Packers. The type of game where the Packers did things they hadn't been doing very well this year. One, field goal kicking. Livingston got them off very well to a 6-0 lead. And then the Packers defense doing an excellent job in pass defense particularly. Gene Washington got very frustrated as the game wore on, as Ellis along with Jeter did a remarkable job. And this has to be a very satisfying victory. As we said before this broadcast started, this game would determine how much of a factor the Packers are going to be in the Central Division, and you can say they're right in the middle of it.
This broadcast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the National League Football Club of Green Bay and is solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. And any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National League Football Club of Green Bay is prohibited. The final score here this afternoon again, the Green Bay Packers 13, the Minnesota Vikings 10. And next Monday evening, a week from tomorrow, the Green Bay Packers meet the San Diego Chargers in San Diego. Our airtime will be 7:45, and we hope you will join us. And Gary, there will be lots of thrilling games for the Green Bay Packers, but it's a tough, long road to beat this one.
Well, they put the pieces together, a young football team with a lot of new faces, and hoping that they can come back to those days the Packers enjoyed 2 years ago.
13-10, the Green Bay Packers over the Minnesota Vikings, and we hope you'll join us next Monday evening at 7:45 for the Green Bay Packers and the San Diego Chargers. Now, this is Jim Irwin speaking for Gary Bender, saying thank you for listening. This is the Green Bay Packer Football Network.